Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's all right. This is Santa. Ho, ho, ho. Or ho, 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 as it should be. Santa is here. And welcome, everybody. The other link had a problem. It seems that I couldn't start it. It gave me an error message every time I would start it, say that the stream couldn't start. So, stream is now officially in session. Hope everybody was all right and hope everybody is having a good time. And Santa's roasting his buns. Should Santa say that on a live show? I don't know. It depends on the audience. And of course, the Christmas tree is here. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Ho, ho, ho. We got some amazing stories and some really cool moments. And, well, for gift requests, look, you guys are going to have to show me that you've been really, really good guys because before I can send an icon to all of you, it's going to take. Okay, let me just make sure that this is all right. So apparently I'm live and I just did a mistake. Folders. I just so I'll say already hello to Richard Lemke that says hi through the email. Nice to have you here, Richard. And the new link is here. And so hope that you are all right. And of course, here we go. That will be for that. And we will keep the tablet because we have some Christmas stories that we will be sharing with everybody. And those Christmas memories are pretty amazing and pretty cool. And my curtain is on fire, yes. Hopefully, all of it will be on fire at the end, and I'll get all the insurance money, but that's another story. uh, so, hey, everyone, welcome aboard. That curtain was supposed to hang higher, but, nothing ever goes like you want when you try stuff, especially when you like put it really quickly. So tonight I have a let me just put this here, a little selection of wine, cheap wine, but wine, a little rosé wine. I'll be putting this here, so a little rosé wine that I will be opening, and yeah, the Christmas tree, sir. This is the Christmas tree. From the bottom about here to the top there with a little Santa on top. So that's the Christmas tree that we have for you today. And Santa, even Santa's arm is look, I'm on fire. uh, nice to have all of you here, and hope everybody's hearing me well. Because I'm probably going to be a little far from the microphone, but trying to be in line with the microphone itself. And let me just pour wine. And of course, I have no idea I'm going to drink it, though. You guys are going to be laughing your head off. Santa searched for a straw for about half an hour, but he couldn't find it. So he's going to have to find another way to drink his wine. So welcome, everyone. And it's nice to be here. This is the Christmas show. We didn't have a show on Saturday. If you would have been and seen Yeah, it might be a little loud because I pushed up the volume a little. If it's too much, let me know. But if it's fine and don't change anything, then I'm going to leave it like that. I actually had a tendonitis and a really, really bad one too. Woke up at 2 a.m. on a Saturday morning. Went to bed Friday night, midnight, 2 a.m. And what happened is I just couldn't deal with the pain anymore. It was so crazy that I thought, well, okay, I'm going to the emergency room. So I went to the emergency room at 2:45 a.m. Got out of there at about 8:30 a.m. with a injection and cortisone injection, and then had some painkillers and some anti-inflammatory stuff. So, but I'm pretty good. I can now move my arm a little more, so it's actually getting better, and at least for that. And thank God it happened kind of earlier, because I got to tell you, I was, with all that happened, is like we're having like a really amazingly big surge of COVID cases here. They're locking us down like crazy. And even friends of mine that I know that never had COVID are actually positive at COVID. So it's pretty crazy. I'm kind of trying to stay home pretty much and trying to avoid meeting as much people as possible. And as for my tendonitis, what happens is I think and that's what I told the doctor. Many years ago, I actually had a bike accident. And since then, my shoulder from time to time just from time to time um, it kind of comes back a little bit. But I just manage. I take a couple of ibuprofens and it's fine. And the next day I'm okay. And it's kind of off and on for years now. And I thought that was pretty much what was going to happen. I actually had a little bit of pain on Tuesday. Went to bed. Took ibuprofens. Was manageable. On Friday, my pain was more intense and actually was not as fun. But boy, it was dreadfully painful when I woke up, and I just couldn't take the pain anymore. I was like, okay, I got to do something about this because this is crazy. So, anyways, things are back to normal, and I'm supposed to start some physiotherapy within the next week. So, I'm going to be checking that out. So, hey, Santa is here from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And of course, we are here to talk about radio, but tonight's a special show. We're going to talk about our little stories that we have. And we're going to start with two things. I'm going to start with, if you've got a story to tell and haven't sent it in yet, it's not too late. Official shortwave radio. Shortwave radio. Man, having a big beard is tough on the keyboard. Official shortwave radio at gmail.com is where you send your story. Please put as a title Christmas story and share with us a little Christmas memory that you have that you might want to, share, and make sure that everybody will have a little. We've got some good ones, by the way. We've got some. We got a couple. My hand is really on fire. We got a couple that are really touching, and so I've got maybe I don't know, about a dozen stories. I'll have a couple of my own. So please send them in. And hey, you know what? Long time I haven't done this. If you want me to try a particular radio of some sort, would like Santa to be able to afford new radios to the future. Of course, you don't have to, but you can send a little PayPal donation to the Yahoo email that you see here. It's much appreciated. A lot of people have been sending me a little something this week. It's Christmas time, and of course, I promise to invest all of it in radios that I will be talking about on this channel. And with your PayPal donation, you can actually suggest a specific radio that you might want to post your donation to, so that I will focus on whatever radio you want me to check out. Okay, there's a beautiful chat room with wonderful people if you want to join in, and this is always cool and it's always fun. And there's of course a Facebook group, all with all of that has the name Official SWL Channel, where everything continues once this is all done. So Santa will take a sip of wine, and he doesn't know how exactly. I guess Santa has some kind of removable beard or something. I should wear my beard like this. So cheers, cheers everybody, whatever you're having. So we're gonna have some stories, some really nice ones. There's one of them that I had to read like 3 or 4 times, because first time I read it, I actually had a few tears, and I said, "Oh man, how am I gonna actually have that story without, crying on the air?" I tell you, you guys, if you're sensitive, you're gonna. There's one of them actually that is extremely touching. So thanks for sharing your stories, and of course, I'll be checking that out. And we're gonna go through the story slowly. So Stephen, nice to have you on board from Iowa. Matt from Denver, Colorado, MDK2. Beef Stroganoff, sounds great. Rob, nice to have you on board from Phoenix, Arizona. David, nice to have you here from Barcelona. EA3IEK, EA4998URE. We have Brad, nice to have you on board. Hello, Brad. Hope you've been a good guy if you want to have your Christmas presents. Salut Vince, j'espère que ça va bien. Gilles n'est pas ici, c'est le Père Noël. Jeff King, nice to have you on board from Florida. Dave, nice to have you on board. Shelly, nice to have you here. Ho, ho, ho. Rob says, hello, St. Nicholas. Dean, nice to have you on board, and Merry Christmas. Vivian, nice to have you here. Merry Christmas. Keegan, and Northwest Arkansas. Nice to have you on board, my friend. Bobby Burgess, WA5107SWL in Morgan City, Louisiana, USA. Welcome aboard, as usual. We have Joshua. Nice to have you on board. Merry Christmas. We have Canadian Radio TV guy. And if you want to have the ICOM, you better have been a really good guy. I can tell you that. Jeff Crafter, nice to have you here. Merry Christmas. Gary24 fan, nice to have you on board. I was a semi-good boy this year. What does that get me? Half of an ICOM. The other half goes to Canadian Radio TV guy. I'll just saw it in half. Work it out together if you want to have a whole radio. Joe Tyson, nice to have you here from Apex, North Carolina, KM4WRQ. David KJ4CMY, nice to have you on board from Georgia. We have James Farley, nice to have you here. KD2GUZ from New Jersey. Dwayne, nice to have you here. Merry Christmas. Brad, nice to have you on board. Merry Christmas. And does Santa look like Gilles? Really? Wow. I don't know. I guess maybe some kind of ancestor. Commodity 1976. Nice to have you on board. Andy New, nice to have you here. MA3007SWL. Joshua wants to have a XH data D808. And Brad, nice to have you here. WA5192SWL or in 5LUL. Joshua wants a 7300 because he's been a good boy. Keegan listening to the show on my new wireless stereo headset, Bluetooth. Cool. Shelly, Santa, I've been waiting for a pony for 60 years, but I'll take a radio. Oh, God. I don't know. Maybe a pony will be less expensive than a radio. It depends on what you want. Dave, what radio equipment do Santa's elves use? We use custom-made Santa communication gear, and it is far superior to anything that you can get on the market. So here you go. Fast Load, nice to have you on board from, of course, not that far away from here, where you were supposed to be at a Christmas dinner at the Zoe bar that had to close down, unfortunately. Joshua, burn shack to build new shack. Yeah. What else do we have? Thank you, Rob. What else do we have? Thanks, guys, for the compliments on the Christmas tree, which was built in exactly, I would say I took about 2 hours to build it the way it is. What else? David's got, I thought Santa got cookies and milk. Well, it depends on Santa. Santa doesn't always drink just cookies, just milk and eat cookies. Sometimes Santa might want to have beer and pizza, or, it depends. It depends. Vince, a cinnamon stick as a straw. I don't even have cinnamons. I used to have cinnamon sticks when I would do some cafe latte, but I don't have them. I don't have some anymore. Ronald, nice to have you here. Merry Christmas from Pittsburgh. Listening on the new XH Data D901, excellent shortwave receiver for $30. Cool. What else do we have? Yeah, solar flux around 140. Pretty good, eh? Really picking up. The number of sunspots on the sun is crazy. It's like the sun just exploded in little sunspots everywhere. Solar activity sure is picking up. It's kind of interesting, and I think it's a good, it's something good for the future. Zen Pharaohs following along with the FRG7. We have Dean. Great idea. Love to listen to Christmas stories. Vince, no Christmas stories. No problem. I've got a few that I'll share over time. Oh, really? Fast Load, you're positive for COVID? Any symptoms? Really crazy. So 45 unit, nice to have you here. You just can't overdo the shots. Yeah. Well, she told me you got a shot of cortisone immediately now, or I give you by pills, but the shot is going to be much faster. So if you don't mind having a needle. And she was really nice, actually. She was so funny because she told me, I totally understand your pain. I actually had the same problem after cleaning a carpet in my living room by hand a couple of years back. So no problem, Joshua. No problem with no Christmas radio stories. Hubert Major, Seti, nice to have you here, and pretty cool to have you here. Happy holidays to everybody, of course. Joshua has AMs talking of tube radios on 3885. Fast load the beard. That's always the problem every year, the beard. Well, Major, this is quite a decorations accomplishment for someone with only one arm available. I won't tell you the difficulty I had hanging this screen. I, hanging something up usually requires two arms. And now I was like, okay, I got it here. How can I use this one to do something? I can't. So what am I going to do? So I found an inventive way of being able to set it up using one arm only. And mind you, this is going to be very temporary. I actually thought, well, yeah, the screen's going to fall down while the live show's there. Okay, what else do we have? Dave, yes, SantaNet on 3916. That definitely is something nice to check out. Is he going to do something here? Because Santa has huge powers. Santa can and will move the fire a little bit. Santa is able to move fire without extinguishing it. Imagine how powerful Santa is. Chris 66, how is shortwave reception on the sleigh? Well, usually I don't have a rig on the sleigh. What happens is Rudolph, of course, guides. From time to time, I have a portable. I'll ask Rudolph to stop blinking his nose because it creates heavy interference in my portable. And once the communications is done to make sure I'm okay, I just tell Rudolph to just, glow again to make sure that we can follow and go at the right place. But Rudolph's nose is dreadfully a big RFI problem. I've been actually thinking of maybe changing Rudolph's nose to some kind of incandescent bulb, but I don't know how it's going to work out exactly, and especially how to power it. Okay. What else do we have? Jim Gordon, nice to have you here. Can remember during the mid 60s, 70s listening to Christmas shows on legendary UK offshore stations like Radio Caroline, London, and North Sea. Gone but not forgotten. Merry Christmas to you all. DJW883, happy holidays. Nice to have you here from Pennsylvania. Hubert Major, no problem. Écoute, ça fait partie de ce que je fais. Alors, joyeux Noël, mon cher. VA2 LMH. Nice to have you here from Victor Echo 2 Zulu, India. Vicky Pelletier, joyeux Noël. Nice to have you on board. Merry Christmas. C'est toujours un plaisir. G-Man, I need a straw. I know. I don't have any. I thought I had saved an old McDonald's straw somewhere, but I couldn't find it. Joshua Gosnell says, talked a lot of hams and have the ICOM 7300, the Yaesu FT DX10, very good radio. Joe Rodman from suburban Chicago. What else do we have? David says, the only thing bad about having a pony is there is no way to recharge the batteries. Carol, nice to have you here. And yes, my shoulder feels better. Al, nice to have you on board from a windy Westport, Massachusetts. Just got my Christmas gift to a PL880. You're going to have a lot of fun with that. I think it's going to be a great radio for you. It sounds great, and it is definitely great. So, does Santa like eggnog and rum? Yeah, usually if you might have an extra gift if you have eggnog and rum rather than milk and cookies. It's not impossible. But the problem with that is that as the night goes on, there might be some places where they're missing gifts because Santa is going to lose his way somewhere. Matt, MDK2. In some ways, the worst thing about the kids believing in Santa was the milk and cookies, having to either choke it down at midnight or throw it out and hope they don't see the trash. I like the picture that's going on Facebook where the kid says, "Hey Santa, if you if you give me my bike like I wanted, I will give you the antidote to the poison in the milk." Oh God, Man Max, nice to have you here. So it's like a very bad flu, man. Hope you feel better. I've been kind of a little crazy today and yesterday. I with all the cases and going up like real fast. I I needed to go out to get some stuff at the pharmacy, and there was a lot of people, and it's like I tell you, I was not comfortable suddenly for the first time. In the first wave, you check out and you're careful, but this wave, I don't want to meet anyone. I just want to stay home. I actually made a big grocery today on the internet, and this is going to be delivered tomorrow. I don't want to have to go to the grocery store. I don't want to meet people. I want to be near people. I just want to be here. Dan, bonjour, Saint Nick, and everyone. Season's greetings from all from a cold Ohio. 10-meter opening up some today. Have a great stream and 8WJZ. Yeah, 10 meters has been really good with the solar flex at 130, 140, 130. The 10-meter band has been open as long as the sun is up. The 10-meter band has been open. So Canadian Radio TV guy says, "Wow, I didn't know all this time that Santa I sent on was Gilles." It's a secret. Shh. It's a secret. There's something about I don't like about the right and the left side of my beard. There's something that isn't. Oh, I know. Kind of didn't hold it the right place. There we go. when I was wearing just this part under the hat, I thought I was like Amadeus. All I needed was a piano or something. Peppa Krampus, nice to have you here from Wind Lake, Wisconsin, just south of Milwaukee. Dick Van Guderen picking up WWVH on 15 megahertz at 030 in northern Mississippi. Yeah, totally possible with the high solar flux. Totally possible. Comaxi 76, Christmas plans changed drastically as my sister called and said she is positive for COVID. She has only mild symptoms so far, but she has asthma, which concerns me. Hope she gets better, man. 1-0. That's the spirit. John Beckham, I like your Christmas tree, and the fire behind you is probably rather hot. Keeps me warm, can tell you that. I bought these logs. It said that it has a 10-hour fire, so it should last. What mode is on 6501? Well, you should be in upper sideband, which 6501 is the U.S. U.S. Marine Weather Station. Unless you're hearing something else, because 6501 itself, upper sideband, should be the Marine Station. Fast load can smell the bacon. Roasted Santa is coming up. Christopher, nice to have you here. Thomas Tomato, greetings and salutations from New Jersey. I need some advice, please. The SolarFlex Index was awesome today. Why has my W6 LVP loop gone bad as compared to my 60-foot dipole? Gone bad everywhere, or gone bad only on certain frequencies? Remember that a 60-foot end-fed dipole in low noise environment will be better than any loop you can attach. The only thing that I would say, if it is worse than it was, and you don't see on the W6LVP the performance you had, make sure that the connections are good, because that loop needs that 12-volt power to actually work. So if the connections are loose or not good, the power might not be going to the antenna. My W6LVP here is a little finicky at the box where the antenna is. I had to actually clean it up a little bit and use a new cable to feed the power and have the antenna working. You know, that thing is a few $100s, and I'm gonna tell you one thing: I have less problem with my MLA30. That's $40. Just saying. Candy glass. They use the reindeer's antlers as antennas. Well, actually, the antlers aren't good as antennas themselves, but you can actually use them to put up some wires. So it's kind of cool. That beard is not fake. Come on. I grew it overnight. It's Santa. RGDA Dakota. Gilles Rudolph, a Philips LED. That's the only one that doesn't put out a buzz. Wes Hopkins, nice to have you on board. What else do we have? Just go back. Where is okay? John Meckham, what do you think of the Ethon Executive Shortwave Portable? Seems decent, honestly. Seems decent. Randall Klontz, 5935 is WWCR. John Beckham, Merry Christmas. What else do we have? Brian Penny, nice to have you here from Cape Cod. Thanks for my Christmas present, a Seagrain CC Radio EP Pro. Congratulations. Hours and hours of fun. TVDXer, Sadish, what brand of rum do you drink? You know what? I don't like rum in general, but I have to say that the Cuban rum is surprisingly good. And I usually avoid pretty much every well-known brand of rum that I always feel is rather bad tasting. Dr. Sisup, nice to have you here. 93.95 WRMI Jammed. Joshua, I don't blame you. Stay safe. That's why I stay to myself. Yeah. David, one of the nice things about lockdown is that you have an excuse to stay home and listen to radio. Absolutely. Absolutely. Dr. Sisop says New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and a few other states going on lockdown and closing non-essential stores again. Yeah, like here. Here we went from like 2,500 cases a day 1 week ago. Apparently tomorrow, only a week later, 9,000 cases. Completely nuts. It's like tripled in a week. And of course, the big problem is that although right now it's still okay, the number of people getting to the hospital is rising fast. Keegan, KNX last heard in December 2020. Dave says 93.95 is S9. Rampton, Santa is getting hammered. No sleigh driving tonight. Zen Farrow, 6501 sounds like a fax, no voice video. That's interesting. I need to let's Santa got permission to use Gilles' computer. So Gilles is going to fire up the SDR console software with the AirSpy HF Plus Discovery. He's going to tune 6501. And he's going to see if... oh, that is WeatherFax. That's a WeatherFax broadcast. It's not RTTY or anything. It's WeatherFax. If you use FLDG, go to WeatherFax, and this is a WeatherFax chart being sent out. I don't know. Maybe I can I start a? Let me check it out here. FLDG. Ouch! 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 This is my arm saying I'm stretching too much. Am I able to do something here? I don't know. I think I can. WeatherFax, and you go to IOC 576, and I will be. Hope it's not too annoying for you guys. I will be checking out if I can decode. Yeah, this is definitely a WeatherFax station. So 6501, what you need to do is just use a WeatherFax decoder. James Farley got it, WeatherFax. It's the first time I hear WeatherFax there. Usually I hear a voice. So Zen Pharaohs, yep, WeatherFax, absolutely. You guys are right. So no, it's not a radio teletype. It's really WeatherFax transmission that you're hearing. So just to show you guys, can I show you guys? I'm gonna. There's a. I'm gonna wait till the picture is a little more decoded, but I'm decoding the picture right now, which is some kind of weather chart that I'm decoding. RJ decode. If Santa gets too drunk, Donner is gonna take over. Paul Kitty tonight going very well. He's sleeping with his little girlfriend in the bedroom. What else do we have? What broadcaster is on 14980 right now? It's probably in Mandarin Chinese, and it's CNR1 jammer. I think 14980 is one of those Voice of Hope frequencies. So it's CNR1, China National Radio 1, on the frequency jamming the transmission. Harold Anderson, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Nice to have you here from Oslo, Norway, LB1NH. Fast load, that's a shame for an antenna of that price. Yes, it is. It is. I can tell you that. I mean, anyways. I don't want to bash it too much, but dang. Dr. Sisov, like the virtual fire behind the sheet there. Yeah, pretty cool, eh? Matt, Cuban rum. We can't get that in the USA. I like Appleton, the kind that comes in the squad bottle. Yeah, I think I've tasted Appleton once. But I have a hard time with a lot of it. It depends which one. Blind Picker, nice to have you here. W0RAB in Connecticut and Blind Ham. John Beckham, I sent you via your email 2 of my past Christmas radio memories. I enjoy remembering them very much indeed. We're going to get to those in a few minutes. Jill, the only rum I drink is Havana Club. Not well known, as you said, but very good. Yeah, Havana Club. That's the one. It's pretty, for rum, it's pretty good. David McCormick, hope those Christmas lights are incandescent in pro low noise. I'm pro low noise, yeah. They are not. The ones that are blinking here, like this one, is a LED blinking set. If I bring a radio near this tree forget radio reception, and this tree is off when I'm actually tuning the bands. My antennas are outside, so the interference level isn't too bad from the tree with the antenna outside. But forget about using a radio inside. It just doesn't work. So look, guys, this is what I'm decoding. Just going to show you guys quickly on the screen here. So this is the chart that's being decoded right now. Here we go. That's the thing. So that's with these little kind of arrow things, and I think it's a ocean current direction chart, if I'm not mistaken. That's right there. So it's really an ocean current chart being decoded. So weather facts on 6501 upper sideband. And that comes from, I'm just going to check out quickly. By the way, the frequencies on EIBI space have been updated today, December 22nd, for the schedules. So 6501. So it's very interesting. You know why, guys? There aren't any reported weather fact stations there. That is weird. It should be voice. 6501. That is weird. Interesting. That's why I was fooled. Because I don't hear any weather facts on that frequency usually. It's always voice, unless they messed up at the U.S. Coast Guard. This is very bizarre that it's there. A French Canadian Santa. Hey, I'm closer to the North Pole than a lot of people. Merry Christmas, William Moser. This is Merry Christmas, my radio friends, and hello, Santa. Cool. Yeah, NORAD Santa tracking, so it's going to start soon. Absolutely. Absolutely. What else do we have? Or JDA Dakota, when I want to listen to my radio, I need to unplug my Christmas lights. Yeah, a lot of them are noisy. That's why I buy a lot of incandescents. In there's a set of 200 incandescent. I purchased 10 boxes of incandescent lights because the ones like in the if you look at the ones that are in the window, they're all incandescent. So what that is cool is that they just don't create any noise. The fact they're incandescent. So I buy everything I see because I know that at some point incandescent bulbs are going to start. They're going to stop. They're going to stop building those because they're going to be more expensive to build than LED bulbs. What else do we have? John Beckham, I must say that you make a pretty good Santa Claus. Joshua, listening to Radio Slovakia 5850. Brad is decoding. Yes. Russ Gladden, season's greetings from Ottawa. Nice to have you here, my friend. Hello there, my friend. REK something in some reverse weird way. Where are you located? Out of curiosity. Dave, thanks, Joe, decoding my first weather facts. Woohoo! That's cool. So, David, in Barcelona, putting together a homemade impedance transformer, so that's why I'm not saying much. So you're busy, man. That's all right. That's all right. Yeah, Santa's call sign is also V2ZZI because he's at the owner's ham station. And by the way, I was extremely happy to and surprised, I gotta say. So I've got a discount, the Tram 1411 discount up front, and I was so one night with Fastload, he sent me a message saying that there was some local gathering on 10 meters at night. So there was a bunch of guys, and I called, and one, at least a couple of them heard me. So I was like, "Oh, it's cool, it's cool." Then on what was it, Sunday? I think it was Sunday or Saturday. It was Sunday, I think. I'm not sure if it was Sunday or Saturday, but I think it was Sunday. So there's an opening on 10 meters, and I hear Victor Echo 6 Charlie Queen on 10 meters. And I'm like, wow, that guy's got a great signal, but I'm almost sure that I will not have a contact with that guy for sure. But I still, I was like, I'm going to call CQ. You never know. So I pumped up my FT450 to the 100 watts. I tuned, and I called CQ. And the guy answers back, says, yeah, V2ZZI. And I'm like, whoa, the guy heard me in Calgary. And it's so funny because, it's a new ham and everything is like, Rick comes back to me and says, yeah, I know you are. I recognize your voice immediately. You're that guy from that other place. Thinking of, the YouTube channel. And it's like, wow, oh, okay. Hey, this is cool. And he gave me a 5.9 report. He was a 5.9 too. So it's like, wow, my first long distance contact, SSB, 3,000 kilometers. Not bad at all when you think about it. So 100 watts using the Tram 1411 discount that is actually capable of transmit on 11 and 10 meters. So I gotta say, I got a little kick out of that. It's like, wow, I'm not set up for the rest of the bands, but I'm happy to have a 10-meter contact. This is so cool. So he's my first official long distance contact. VE2, Victor Echo 2 Echo Romeo Bravo, which is Fastload, is my first official contact. And but my first long distance contact is Victor Echo 6 Charlie Queen. So this is pretty cool when you think about it. I really am happy to have done that. I never thought I'd make it. Of course, when you look at the guy's antennas, you're like, wow, okay, he's pretty good at reception also. Well, that's the thing, Zen Pharaohs. I looked at the schedules. There isn't any weather facts being broadcast on 6501. It's usually voice. It's as if they mixed the frequencies or something. Okay. So let's go down so I can start reading some of your emails here, because there's some really good ones in there. Take care, Joshua. Have fun, W4GOG. John Beckham, 5990 has been booming in Northeast Florida. Cool. What else do we have? Mr. Henry, 1876 says, for somehow I knew Santa was from Canada. Please, some good solar activity for 2022. I promise I will. Jim McLeod says, I keep hearing conflicting information about medium wave conditions improving. In my experience, it has been hit and miss. Merry Christmas from Newfoundland. You got to think about the fact that there are two things in medium wave that are important. So first of all, yes, we're the longest nights now. Okay, winter officially is since yesterday. Reached the solstice, and that means technically for long wave, medium wave, best time of the year. Now, where the problem lies, probably, and I've seen it a few times, is that I didn't put the gloves. Forgot to put the Santa gloves. I just see the gloves there and I'm like, oh, I didn't put the Santa gloves. So Santa has hands. um, the problem with what's happening now is that we're getting higher in solar activity. There's a lot more days with unsettled conditions. And one of the biggest problems with medium wave is that immediately when there's some kind of geomagnetic unrest, medium wave is always one of the first bands to be hit and to be bad. So what's happening is we had a lot of days with unrest. So what you have to do is you have to listen every day. You'll have some great nights in there. But as solar activity rises, you will also have some crappy moments where, conditions aren't good. NH Olmsted, nice to have you on board. Quick question. I'm thinking about purchasing a basic shortwave radio with LSB, USB, SSB to listen to the shortwave bands. What do I recommend? Depends on how much money you have to spend. If you don't mind the muting when you use the tuning button, Dixon PL330 is the best bang for buck for the money spent. I mean, it's crazy. You can get a CountyCom GP7 SSB, which is that little form factor, vertical form factor, if you like it. CountyCom GP7 SSB, which is an equivalent pretty much of a Texan PL330. But they mute when you tune around. If that is a problem, you have two choices. For a little more, not too much more, you can go and get a Texan PL 680 or 660. That is a nice radio. It's a PLL. It's an old analog PLL style with the frequency display. Those won't mute, and you have the airband capability. You can also check an XH Data D808, pretty good radio. But I would actually take a Texan PL330 over it. And if you have the money, get a Texan PL990 or H501X. These are much, much higher end and much better, but they are much more expensive. And once again, I'm going to say it, a $300 H501 does not receive more signals than a $80 Texan PL330. It's just that it adds a few capabilities that the 330 doesn't have and also has amazing sound. Robert Glacier, nice to have you here from Southern Arizona. Steve, Merry Christmas from Australia, Melbourne, Australia. Every time I hear or I read Melbourne, it's very simple. I think of Radio Australia. Oh, God. Arthur's Undercrafter's Kitchen. Just built first Estes model rocket in almost 50 years. Launchpad and controller ready. Hope to launch soon. Built-in HD video camera. Oh, this is cool. The last time I had one, with me and my nephews, we had a lot of these model rockets. We had a contest. So, long story short, me and my nephews. So my nephews, we grew up, and the uncle is the geek guy that did a lot of stuff. In the summertime, one of the fun things we did together was go out and do some model rocketry, and it's really, really cool because we would actually, we started with the model rocketry from Estes, which is the main company that makes most of it. And there was a hobby shop not far from here that would sell the motors that we needed. And we had a lot of fun with that and recovering and all of that. Plus, I had a lot of fun because we would use these little FRS or GMRS talkies So there's a radio aspect to it, which is also fun for me. And the last time we did some of those, we had a contest, and I had given my nephews the. I tell my nephews, you know what? We will build our own rocket from scratch using cardboard tubes, and we will launch our rockets. And it was so funny because we had different style of rockets. One of them was called Cow One because we had this big cardboard tube, and we had cow stickers all over it. And we said, "Oh, that's the Cow One rocket." And we had all sorts of fun things like that. We had one that we had. It was probably near the Christmas holiday because we had put, they sell these packages of very small aluminum colored uh, gifts, and we had filled the tube with these gifts. So when the rocket motor explodes the top to push, the parachute, and high up in the sky there's these little glittering things falling down, and there are these little gifts. But to give you a sign of the times, the last time that I actually sent one up, instead of a HD video camera, it was a camera with a film. And as the rocket went up, it would take 30 pictures, 24, I think it was 24 pictures at regular intervals. It was made for that. So we sent the rocket up, and then we had 24 pictures taken of pretty much nothing. It didn't work out. But man, that's a lot of fun, honestly. Dr. Sissop, I see you on CuraZ.com and FCC side now. Cool. Hey, Paul, AA1SU, nice to have you on board from Northern Vermont. I took my desktop computer outside to blow these 7 years of dust. Oh, God. Yeah. Okay, let's check it out. Try to go there as fast as we can. Matt says the first HFSSB contact is always special. It is. It is indeed. Indeed. Stephen, Merry Christmas. M0JUP. Joe Brown, has Santa's sleigh been retrofitted with a GPS navigation system? Of course. Santa is always ahead of his time. OBWeb 48, CQDX ER2KAE. Happy holidays. Nice to have you on board. We have Marvin Mutz. Nice to have you on board from Silicon Valley, Shenzhen, China. Ham Radio Hobo. Where's the cat? He's sleeping in a bedroom with his girlfriend. Who knows what they're doing? What else do we have? Richard. Nice to have you here from New York. John Beckham. What does Paul the cat want for Christmas this year? As long as he's got, me and some cat food. I usually buy him, one of those little catnip toys. He always kind of goes crazy over that a little bit. Stuff like that. WSI Homebrew says, love the projected fire and tree. Merry Christmas from rural Virginia. Candy Glass. I found and bought an old CC Radio Plus for $5 at a local secondhand shop. I've heard it's a good AMDX radio. Cool. John Beckham. When I think of Australia, I think of musical band Ice House. Actually, there's of course the band that made what's the name of that band? I'm trying to remember. Anyways, the band that for me is very Australian, and a band I love a lot is Crowded House. What else do we have? What else do we have? We should check it out here. Okay. Ion Bruce says doing good here. Lots of brush and wood burning outside. Good weather today. John Beckham, as of late, I'm starting to become interested in the Ethon shortwave brand. Shelley probably had the Estes call the Camrock people today who flew it said they were lucky to get maybe one photo in the focus. Look, I didn't even have one. Honestly, I didn't not even have one picture that was okay. I was crossing my fingers because I told my nephews, if we're lucky, we're going to have one or two. And that'd be just, even if I had one, it's like, oh, this is so cool. No, I got zero. I'm sure the guy that developed the film was like, what the hell is this? I hope that's what he wants. It was just crazy. Ham radio hobo, SDR versus shortwave radio. Well, an SDR is a shortwave radio. But it depends what you want. And it depends what you like. SDRs are software-defined receivers are not for everyone. If you're computer savvy, if you like computers and you have you want to use a radio and a computer at the same time, SDRs for a lot of people change their radio lives forever, including me. But it depends. It really depends what you like. Not everybody likes that. Not everybody's there. Yeah, 330 does have Texan 330 does have SSB indeed, Dave. Rick from Milwaukee, nice to have you here. Jeff in New Hampshire, nice to have you on board. David Zitzman, got Texan PL680 from Santa. Cool. Yarabamba, nice to have you on board. Andre, waiting for an Eton Elite Executive from Santa. Cool. RJ Gonzalez, nice to have you here from Edmonton. Pretty cool. Hey, I'm down. I've reached the bottom. So, we're going to start reading some of those little cool little stories that we've got, and some really nice ones too. Remember, you can send in your story if you haven't sent it tonight. Richard Lemke, by the way, in Edmonton, Alberta, says in St. Albert, Alberta, Canada, says Monday evening Santa gave me a booster shot, and yesterday was a different day. Everything back to normal. Merry Christmas from my family to yours, Paul the Cat. So Merry Christmas, Richard, and glad you had that. Little booster shot there, and really nice to pretty cool to just gonna check something. I got something tonight. Oops. Okay, nope, I don't want that. Okay, so let's go into some stories that we received in the past week. The first story that I want to read is a very touching story. I'm going to go on this one first because it's frankly something that touched me so much. Comes from Gordon Lyle, WA9211SWL. You guys know, he's been around a lot. He's the guy that says he's the solitary radio listener. So here's the story from Gordon Lyle. And prepare your tissues because you guys are going to have or shed a little tear. Let's just put the volume down here because There we go. Okay, so the first story, Gordon Lyle. In 1970, my mom died from ovarian cancer just before my 4th birthday. I never got to know her because I was so young when she died. Through the 70s, my father would tell me different things about my mom, what she liked, the kind of person she was, and just different little things. He told me her favorite song was Unchained Melody by the Righteous Brothers. She would listen to that, and she and my father would dance together in the living room. In December of 1980, a week before Christmas, I turned 14 years old. We had a local radio station that had an all request show from 7 to 10 p.m. every Saturday night. I called the station, told them my name, and my story about how my mom had died on this day 10 years ago. I would like to request their favorite song, and the song her and my father would dance around to the house to. That song is Unchained Melody by the Righteous Brothers. The DJ said he would be happy to play that and tell my story behind my request. I had my father come into the room and I had my radio on. The DJ told my story, said this song is dedicated to Gordon's late mother, Jean, who lost her battle with cancer 10 years ago, and his father. They started playing the song, and for the first time, I saw my father cry, which made me tear up also. He was very moved. He gave me a hug and said my mom would have been so proud if she was there. In 1988, I lost my father just short of my 22nd birthday. Every year on that day, my mom died. I put that song, and my wife of 30 years and I danced together in our living room in front of the picture of my parents that hangs on the wall. So thanks, Gordon, for sharing this. This is the first time I read it. I thought, oh God, how am I going to read this without crying? And I've read it several times to kind of harden me up a little bit. And what a beautiful story. A beautiful radio-related story, Gordon. Thank you so much for sharing this. So this is one of the stories we have tonight. What else do we have? We're going to continue. We're just going to say hi to everybody. Hard cider is ready, says David Zitzman. Ham Radio Hobo, Texan PLEED is a radio I have. Was wondering if there is a shortwave radio that can be used as a SDR. You'll have to use an SDR or buy a specific SDR. Paul, nice to have you on board. Merry Christmas from Southwest Michigan. Kimberly, K6YY Hell, nice to have you on board. Says, I love your decorations and holiday spirit. You worked at this, and I really appreciate your work on this. Thank you very much. Well, this was done in one afternoon, actually. So this morning, none of that was here. And I thought of, okay, it's got to look like Christmas tonight. The only thing I had was a Santa suit. But I wanted to have much more than that. I wanted to have something that does feel like it's Christmas. So nice to have you here, Kimberly. Arthur's Other Crafters Kitchen. I was exposed to COVID by a coworker that got it. I've been home all week and got tested tomorrow. And get tested tomorrow. I've been hobbies all week. Hope that everything is all right. So, what else do we have? Spirit of Radio. That's a great story. Very nice story. Nice story, Gordon. I always enjoy your posts in the Facebook group as well. Paul, Gordon, thanks for making me cry. Shelly, thank you, Gordon, for sharing the lovely story. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays from Chuck in Newtown, Pennsylvania. Beautiful story, Gordon, indeed. WF7I says, you really did a great job of decorating for sure. Thank you very much. So, it's nice to be here, and it's nice to share all of this. So what else do we have in stories? We have one from somebody called Helmuth. And so we don't have a lot more information about, who he is. But here's the thing. He says, my ongoing Christmas memory is listening to the BBC World Service broadcast of the Christmas Eve Festival of 9 Lessons in Carols from King's College, Cambridge. I'm not religious, but there is something special and very peaceful about this at Christmas. I can just lower the lighting, play the video of the log fire burning brightly and crackling, and sit back and listen to the broadcast for the hour long with a small glass of something to sip. Christmas greetings to all on the channel. Joyeux Noël to yourself, Paul and Mignon. Helmuth. So thank you very much for sharing this. Much appreciated. John Beckham has 2 stories for us. So the first memory says, hey, Gilles, John Beckham, with 2 Christmas memories about my radio presence back in the day. I can remember Christmas 1960, in which I got a GE General Electric 6-transistor pocket radio with a black leather carrying case, and I was excited about getting that radio. That was my very first radio, and I thought that it was so cool receiving the many AM stations, as it was an AM-only radio. It was after receiving this gift back in the Christmas of 1960 that I started my interest in radio, and eventually DXing indeed. That GE AM Pocket Portable radio was so neat, I thought, and I was very happy that Santa Claus gave it to me. So that indeed is a very nice little memory. And his second memory, oh shoot, I was about to say the other word. I accidentally, recycle bin. Oop. I accidentally deleted. I need to find it. It must be in one of the folders. Draft, all mail, junk. Did I put it in junk? Where does it go when I delete it? Let me just find it. I have to find it. Unwanted. Must be in the recycle bin. I was not in the recycle bin thing. Oh, darn it. Yeah. Where is it? I'm sorry. I am sorry. All mail. So let me just try to find it by searching for it. Beckham. I'm just gonna search for it again. Darn it. Yes, I do stupid stuff like that sometimes. What the hell did I do? I should find my stuff from time. Was the night before Christmas, and all through the house, we needed a radio, but only had a mouse. I ran up the stairs to find that someone was playing ham radio. I'm trying to distract you guys while I'm searching for what I just threw away. I'm a little mad at myself. What the hell? Where did it go? Where the hell did it go? Okay, let me go back here. I'm going to find it back. It's actually easier for some reason to find it on the PC. Because on the PC, Gmail is easier to manage for me. So, John, I am so sorry. I will find your email. Here we go, John. Second memory. Okay. And I want to send it. No. I just want to go back into the, well, I'll read it from my computer. Here. So, second memory gift gift memory is it was Christmas 1966 when Santa Claus bought me a Monarch AM1 vacuum tube shortwave receiver, and it was a desk communications receiver. It was 3 a.m. Christmas morning that year, and I plugged in the shortwave receiver and I tuned into the 80 meter ham band listening to two ham operators in Spartanburg, South Carolina, talking to each other. Wow, I was having lots of fun listening to the ham bands that particular Christmas. The radio came with an attachable telescopic antenna, which I connected. The antenna worked fairly well, but a few days later, I put up a long wire outside antenna, and wow, did that make a difference on my reception. Thanks, Santa, for that great Christmas of 1966. Once again, thank you so much, John, for that fantastic sharing of two cool radio memories. Nothing like having radios when you are in the holiday season, honestly. So let's go back to the chat room and go back after that to the memories. What else do we have? What else do we have? So everybody is happy with that very touching story of Gordon. Indeed, the first time I read it, I got to tell you guys, when I read it for the first time, I actually had a tear. I was like, oh God, I'm going to have to read that story without actually crying or something. So cheers to all the memories, by the way. Cheers to all the holidays. And you know what? I'll just take a sip and I have something to say because I think it's nice to have people, kind of cheering us up at this time of year and especially now. So cheers, everyone. I want you guys to stay upbeat. I want you guys to cheer up. Obviously, we've been 2 years in a pretty much a crap world moment. Oh, what's happening here? There we go. And things are not easy for everyone. And okay, let me just fix this correctly because I'm going crazy. I think I need to remove the glasses for it to work well. Here we go. Maybe actually I didn't put it well. There we go. Santa needs to replace his beard from time to time. So, anyways, what I want to say is that in the past couple of years have been complicated for everybody. This year doesn't seem okay. Now I need to fix it really well. Okay. Wait, guys. Santa will, for a second, get up, and we'll be fixing our little problem. Hey, we're back. Now things should be much better. Okay. So, in the past couple of years, I've been having a lot of messages from people that's saying that thank you for what you do because it definitely is something that change, helped me go through COVID and go through what's happening with everything. And I'm glad to be here for that. I'm glad to be here to help out, to push the spirits of radio also at the same time. I think we do need some fun times and some together times. And, even though this is virtual, it's still a together time for all of us. And I want to thank you guys for a lot of very positive comments in the past couple of years saying how you hang on thanks to this show, thanks to the channel, thanks to the Facebook group. And it always is very comforting and a very beautiful moment when I read, such positive words from everyone. And I think as we go through what is possibly the worst wave of all, let's comfort ourselves with radio. Uh, at least we have a hobby. We have something. I know people that have nothing, that they don't know what to do. We have a hobby. We have something we can get to distract us and listen to the world. And it is definitely something that we have to keep doing. And I think, in some way, it keeps us a little sane in this insane world, basically. I would like to also, he's not here. I haven't seen him. Maybe he came in, but I don't think he will. You guys know William Helms that comes in the chat room all the time. I would like us to just send our warmest sympathies, our warmest thoughts. William Helms sent me a message this morning. He lives in Florida, to say that his mom died today. And I think we just should, as of a united voice, say that we are all together with him, and that we are very, very sorry, and we are here, and that to take comfort and things we love, and the fact that we're all here and that you can join at any time. So hey, William, hang in there, and don't forget you have friends, radio friends from all around the world, and just stay safe. Okay, Blue Storm. Anybody got the Sea Crane EP Pro? Got one yesterday. Reception is okay. Seems a little overpriced. Look, I got a Sea Crane EP. I got a Sea Crane CC Radio 2E, and it definitely is a nice radio. It's overpriced, yes or no? I don't know. It's a big radio compared to what you get radios today. And these radios, I believe, have these twin coil loops that make AM, EM wave reception better than the average radio. I don't know about the EP Pro, but I know that the 2E has really good sound quality and a nice big speaker in there. I will be doing a review in the next few days of that radio on the channel, on the 2E. Chance Tank, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Nice to have you here from Louisville, Kentucky. Jim McLeod, Christmas 81 or so, found a present under the tree that felt like clothes. Yuck. Turned out to be a Sears Sanyo boombox with shortwave. So excited. Thanks, Santa, Mom and Dad. Wear it out. Yeah, there are some of these things that are just so crazy. What else do we have? Richard, nice to have you here. What else do we have? Paul Camish, I'm a new ham operator, only a week. I've had an amazing week. I've spoken to Canada, Italy, Spain, Germany, and France. Cool. MZ7XIX. Paul, this is the most Christmas thing I will attend this year. Many thanks for all the work you put in. Thank you. RJDA Dakota, not so much a Christmas event, but a New Year event, was a call to Radio RSA's New Year's Eve broadcast. Need to hear myself in just a bit of advanced shortwave radio. This is so cool. This is so cool. Mad Radio DXer UK. Hope you are well, my friend from the UK. Nice to have you here, my friend. It's late over there. James, Merry Christmas, Gilles. Santa dropped off a Degen D1103. Woohoo! Have fun with that radio, man. Sean Beckham, thank you, Gilles, for sharing my memories. Merry Christmas to you and everybody on the Shortwave Club. Cheers. Zach Shack Radio. What kind of ham radio do you use? Right now, I have an FT450, Yaesu FT450 as an HF transceiver. Yeah, I might need to put another log in the fire. Dwayne, thanks for all the time and work you put into the show. Thank you very much. Arthur's Allocrafter's Kitchen. People need to take COVID seriously. If this winter is anything like the previous, radios will be like the best friends if there are lockdowns. Yep. John Beckham says, yeah, your podcast is really meaningful to me indeed. Chastang Radio is playing a big part in life in Western Kentucky right now. Dave is listening to the Sentinet on 3916 lower sideband, if you guys want to try it. John Wayne, greetings. Nice to have you here. WS7I, Gilles, yourself, and the members on chat have been sort of a radio club for me, a place to sometimes share my hobby with others and to inspire me. A great help during COVID, but really just in general. Cool. And thank you so much for what you're doing also as a moderator. It's not always easy. You know, moderating a channel and being a guy that will go out there and you know, try to see what's good, what's wrong in the Facebook group is a big job. And moderators are extremely important to keep as much of the junk out of the channel and of the Facebook group. Yeah, I know, Brian. Every year is that. My brother, a couple of years back. I'm having a lot of problem with this beard. Here we go. My brother, a couple of years back. We don't see my, you don't see my lips anymore, but it's better like this actually. My brother, a couple of years back, was looking at one of my live shows and said, "Oh man, I laughed all night with your beard always being readjusted." Oh God. Mad Radio DXer, my thoughts are with you, William Helms. May she rest in peace. Others, all the Crafters Kitchen's best wishes and warm regards to William Helms. I've lost both my parents in the last 3 years. God bless. David McCormick, hang in there, William. Thinking of you and your sorrows. John Beckham, prayers are going out. Shelley, William is on my prayer list now. WF7I, condolences to Mr. Helms. David says, in a better place. Larry Nathan, thank you for all your effort to make quality content for us. A real rear in spice under extinction, the shortwave listening. I'm following you for 3 years, and believe me, you and the group make my days happy. Cool. Dwayne, so sorry, William. My prayers. WF7I, these live streams have become a ritual to look forward to. Relax with a cup of tea, tune the bands, chat with a few friends. Thanks for this. Looking forward for some Christmas pirate stations. Yeah, there should be. There should be. We don't talk about it much, but holiday season, there should be definitely some pirates out there. Definitely. Jim Radiocheck, I remember Christmas of 65. Woke up, found a Crown Pocket radio under the tree. I was so excited. Cool. Cool. Bob, nice to have you here. Merry Christmas. Bruce, thanks Santa for all the great chat about shortwave radio. You got me back into the hobby for 2021. Cool. Cover Krampus, in my honest opinion, quality full speaker radio from Seacrane that performs better than either the EP Pro, CC Radio 2 to E3 is the CC Radio shortwave. Audio is about the same quality as the Ethon Granic Field BT. What else do we have? Mark, nice to have you on board. Merry Christmas. Kenny Glass, looking at the EP Pro right now, and after that comment a bit ago, for what it claims to be, it doesn't seem overpriced to me. David McCormick, radio related, a new radio play based on the Starship Titanic is now available on the stream for the BBC Radio 4 for the next month. It's funny and fun, based on a Douglas Adams video game from the 90s. Cool. David Zitzman's looking forward to Christmas. RJD Dakota, looking forward to seeing your broadcast every week because I can't seem to be able to get out to do this. Anything else? We're going to go back to the messages and read more. Okay, as we're back down, let's continue with more stories. We're going to check more stories right here. So, we have Francis. Francis says, my parents gave me a GE3 5259A Blockbuster boombox for Christmas back in the early 80s. At the time, it was just a cool utility radio that I used outdoors, working on my car or relaxing in the sun. Eventually, when I had my own home, it became a garage radio. It spent many years in less than glamorous condition. After 25 years or so, I realized how novel it had become. You can't buy anything like it anymore. It doesn't look new anymore, but it still works well. Today, that radio is a prized member of my radio collection, and it sits proudly on my bedroom dresser with other radios that I value. Merry Christmas from our friend here, Francis. So that's pretty nice story. And thank you so much. Richard Califano has my best memory is going to visit my cousin on a cold February night of 1968. He was in the yard in a chef, or it was like a shed. Probably a shed. I think that's what he wanted to say. It was in the yard in a shed that had a space heater in it, and he was monitoring his shortwave radio. The space was only large enough for two people. Once I spent a short time with him, I was hooked. The following Christmas, I received my first shortwave radio, a Hallicrafters S120 shortwave radio. This was the best ever. 73s, all, and happy holidays. So 1968. Oh, man. You know, I started my shortwave listening and hobby in 1982 officially. My radio experience personally goes back to a little more than that. So one of my first Christmas gifts, I guess. Two things that I will remember well. Two things that I remember well for my Christmas gifts. One is my Ernie in the Bathtub AM radio. And I'm pretty sure that was a Christmas gift of somewhere, memory at that time isn't that great. So it's like, somewhere in 1978, I would say, 77, 78, I was 7 or 8 years old or something like that. And that was my first AM radio. I still remember. I've seen a few go through on eBay, and I was like, yeah, I'd like to have one. If it would be in a decent price, I would like to have one. Ernie and the Bathtub Receiver. It's an AM radio, so it's Ernie from Sesame Street. But my second, it's not technically radio related, but it is in some way. So, you guys know that my sister that passed away in 2011, my sister Joanne, was a ham radio operator, and she had seen my skills as playing around with electricity and electronics as a very young teenager. And I remember going to our home, a new home, and where she set up her ham station in Bel-Air. And I have a great memory because we didn't make presents much between our, brothers and sisters at that time. And I was not expecting, I was happy to see my sister and was not even expecting a gift. I didn't care about getting a gift or not. It was just like, I'm happy. I'm seeing my sister. And there was a few gifts under the tree. But for me, it didn't came to mind that there was one for me. And at some point, my sister gave me a box and said, happy, Merry Christmas. And I opened it, and it was a kit for, being able to remove the insulation off of wires. There was like that big, thing with the wire gauge on it, and you just put the wire on the little hole and you just pull, stuff like that. There was electricity detector to make sure that, in a wire, the electricity flows. There's quite a few little things in there and I remember it was the simplest, imagine the simplest kit of basic wiring and electricity, but being so happy to have it. And there was some, connectors. Those, and I know the name in French, which is marette, which is these, you put 2 wires together and you just screw that little thing on top. And there were, connectors that you just had to squeeze a connector on top and on the top of a wire, stuff like that. I was so happy. It was the simplest thing in the world, but it was, you would have given me a $1,000 gift rather than that. And I don't think I would have been happier on a $1,000 gift than having that little kit, which made me so happy that night. And I remember I kept that, and it went through the 80s. Pretty much. And when I needed a connector, or I needed something, or I needed to remove insulation off of wire, I mean, that was the go-to little kit that I would go all the time. And that's a pretty cool little memory. One memory I'm going to share about radio, and I shared it on the, by the way, we have online the International Radio Report Christmas special. It will not air on CKUT, by the way. This is a special that is YouTube only, or you have a download link for an MP3 if you want to just have the MP3. It's a 1.5-hour show that me and Sheldon Harvey and me put together. It is definitely something you guys have to go and check out. It has history of radio in there. It has the importance of how, it's like how important radio was in the past. We have recordings of old stuff that happened a long time ago. And we go up and we have Christmas memories and all of that in there also. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't done so. So it's on the International Radio Report YouTube channel. And we posted the link on all the groups, including the shortwave group, by the way. One of the memories I have, so I come from let's say a complicated childhood. It was very, very, there's some really nice stuff. And, my dad had, without my dad, it would never be, I don't think I would have a computer and be computer like literate like I am now. Same thing for radio. My dad bought me, the first radio and everything. People don't have just negative sides. There's a lot of very positive sides to people in life. But my story comes from the cheers. My story comes from the 90s, early 90s. My parents separated in the early 90s. So I lived with my mom for a while. And one of the Christmas memories I have is of I had purchased, and I still have it here. It's a little too complicated to go and get it because it's still working. A Panasonic boombox. I had purchased that and given her that as a gift in, I don't know, 1991, 92-ish. And she would make tapes of stuff that she would listen to, music she would listen to on the radio. And that was her fun. My mom didn't ask for a lot in life. My mom was a simple woman that really didn't have need a lot to be happy. And I remember she passed away. A couple of days before she passed away, I remember she telling me that what she was the most proud of in her life was her children. And when she moved with me to, and we were together, one of the common things that we had was, I always been, I'm a sucker for old time music, Christmas music. This is the time when I, get out my Andy Williams and Perry Como and Bing Crosby. What else do you have? Anyways, all of these artists with their Christmas album. And Nat King Cole. What is there? Engelbert and Perdick, Johnny Mattis. I got all those albums, by the way, those Christmas albums, the original ones, on a vinyl, and that I can play. And this is the time of year I will do that. I'll get that out like when I was doing the tree here, and I'm a sucker for that. Christmas, December is you got to play those songs, and they remind me of my childhood at the same time. But at that time, she didn't have a turntable. I remember for a while she didn't have a turntable, and we would scour the FM band in December searching for Christmas music, and she would make these tapes that she would play back. And I actually have a box here because when she died, I found a metal box. No one does metal cookie boxes, but it was like a square one. I looked inside, and it was all the tapes for track cassettes, all one next to each other. There's probably, I don't know, at least 25 tapes in there, if not more. I would say there's 20 tapes for sure, even more. And 4 or 5 of them are written Christmas. And there's a couple of one that I look at the box of the tape, and it reminds me that it probably are tapes that she made while we were together at Christmas and going through the FM band listening to Christmas music, and she would press that record button to record one of the Christmas songs playing on the channel on FM. And that's one of the memories I got from that's radio related, and that is with my mom. What else do we have? What else do we have? Let's go down. Let's go down. David McCormick, I'll have a Texan for Christmas. You can tune with that. Paul not getting his Santa net on 3916. Sean Becker, Merry Christmas, absolutely. Metalunar, wow, that it's actually Santa. Was not expecting that. Hey, Skip, happy all of the above to Skip and to EI. Nice to have you here, Skip. Blue Storm, I'm able to get the Santa in Texas on IPL 660. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Alembic 65, greetings from down the Great Lakes coastline in Cleveland. Really hope for a good old snowy winter for once, but it's been mostly the opposite. Here it's white, so we're going to have a white Christmas, but there's barely a couple of inches on the ground, nothing more. John Beckham, the really cold weather for Christmas in the USA is around Washington State and northern part of the country. Yeah, it's like here in the western part of Canada. David McCormick, my father and me built our first real shortwave radio as a Heathkit Shortwave 77 for Christmas in 79. My best memory of building electronic projects together. We also made a trap dipole antenna. Cool. David, Gilles, thanks so much for that special international radio report. It was fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We had a lot of work done to put that together, and it was a lot of fun. John Beckham says, does anyone remember the iLight Radio Night Kit catalog, as they had a shortwave radio receiver that you could build called a Star Roamer? David McCormick, my dad built ham radios for others, but was only interested in shortwave because I got into it. He was proud when I passed my general and advanced class AM exams, and he and my brother were with me. Cool. Al, I'm so glad to have rekindled my two hobbies, shortwave listening and astronomy, during this awful COVID situation. Yep, pretty good for that. WF7I Homebrew. My only Christmas radio memory really was operating CW as a young ham, hearing all the greetings from all the countries. Merry Christmas to you and yours. I felt among friends, and it was sincere and warm. Cool. Cool. WF7I says, I sort of found a home in CW, and then as well has now always found it to be a friendly and fun place to be as a ham. Homie 65 says, so true about the power of Andy Williams. Dino, the stores mostly focus on only the worst modern dreck, like this Christmas. Yeah. Yeah. Jim, nice to have you here from Rhode Island. Danny wants to roast a marshmallow on that open fire. Richard Salustro says, being a 10-year-old kid listening to CKLW Canada and WWWE Cleveland from Long Island, New York on an old Sony clock radio. Oh, this is cool. Cool. Metalunar, a good time to say thanks to you. Your channel over the years has helped kindle an interest in me to check out the shortwave hobby. Thank you very much. This is why we exist. Pepper Grampus, thank you all. I'm here to have some fun and taking a break. It's all good. He's now living in his new life without hardship. Remember, we share love for shortwave and the same fate, as no one gets out of here alive. Yeah, we have to hang on to our memories and to our good times, for sure. And you know, we all go through these little moments where it's a little rough, but we've got to hang and be happy. We have friends, we have people over, we have things like this that change our mind forever. Let's check out a few more little memories in here. Okay, we've got John. So, John N. And here's a story. It says, Bonjour, Gilles. I have a radio story that happened before Christmas around 1970. My parents bought 2 handheld radios as a set. They had the Citizen Band radio channel 14 in them. My father went to the backyard and my mother went to the front yard. They wanted to test them to make sure they worked. So my father started saying, ho, 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 Merry Christmas. And someone other than my mother answered him and said, well, I hope you have a Merry Christmas too. They never found out who the person that answered was, but it was funny. They told that story every year during Christmas. Have a nice holiday season and a safe one too. Keep up the great work, John. That's great. Great little stories. Paul, why am I doing that? Darn. I'm just pressing the screen. So we have a story that I need to fetch here now. Because the app on the tablet isn't very fantastic in searching for stuff. So Paul A. Steckler. Paul A. Steckler has a little memory. So I'm just going to do this because I want to read it from the tablet. It's better for transfer. Yeah, send to official shortwave channel. Come on. There we go. There we go. Better like this. It's easier anyways. Okay. And so, Paul A. Steckler. Should be here in a few seconds. Oh, man, I hate it when that happens. Okay, so we're going to read it from the PC. It's going to be faster. So, nice Christmas memories. And I want to thank everybody, by the way, for sending these Christmas memories to the email. They're a lot of fun, and it's a lot of fun to have them here. Oh, should be here. Should be here. I don't know why it doesn't refresh. It's driving me nuts. Come on. Stupid tablet. So, Paul A. Steckler has a very nice story. And he says, here's a Christmas memory from a few years ago. Around 2012, when I was living in Portland, Oregon, and decided I wanted to take a winter vacation in British Columbia. So I took the Amtrak up to Seattle on Christmas Eve and planned to take the ferry to Victoria the day after Christmas. After arriving in Seattle, I spent the night in a downtown hostel. Now, I'm a coffee addict, so on Christmas morning, I went in search of a cup. I walked and walked and walked around downtown. Everything was closed. Finally, after a couple of hours, I happened upon what was probably the only cafe open in the entire city. I ordered a big mug of delicious coffee, the best present ever. As for the rest of the trip, in Victoria, I went for a breakfast at a restaurant near the ferry port. Above my table, there was a large painting of the Ali Fraser match. How appropriate, given that it was Boxing Day. I took the bus over to Vancouver and stayed in another hostel. The guy in the bunk above was kind of crazy. He kept on hitting the walls and bed with his fists, making strange sounds in the morning. I went for a lovely long walk in the Stanley Park, which made the whole thing worthwhile. If there's a good place in Canada to spend a winter day, it's Vancouver. Okay, Paul. Oh, man. Funny story. There's a lot of those weirdness, and there's a lot of things that happen. And, when you go out and you go out of the blue and, just enjoy life. Okay. We have David, KJ4CMY. I've used that one, by the way, David, on the International Radio Report as the Gordon Lyle story also. My favorite Christmas memory comes from Radio Canada International. They did a feature on Reginald Fessenden and his Christmas Eve broadcast. He had a woman singing a song. Several radio operators who were used to only hearing dots and dashes said they heard the voice of an angel. I often wonder what it would be like to have been one of those operators, hearing a human voice on the radio for the first time. I think of this every Christmas. David Harden, KJ4CMY, thank you very much for sharing this. You know, there's a lot of those things that you think about, or I think about, of what communications must have been like back a long time ago. You know, what was it like in the in the 40s and the 30s and so on, and what, how was it? Um, I would love to take technology we have today, like an SDR, go back and look at the bands, the shortwave bands, for example, in the 40s or 30s, or even then. Imagine having that SDR set up, and you got that first broadcast it was like what, 1906. Seeing that pop up on an SDR and saying, "Wow, I'm witnessing the first ever voice broadcast for radio." It reminds me of one of those very eerie recordings from 18 something. Some of you might have heard it on the internet. It's apparently the first ever recording on paper. I think it's recorded on paper. It's an experiment, and the guy is trying to use some medium to record is little girl singing "Au clair de la lune." And there's a kind of a clip that's going on the internet that I wish we could verify that it's an authentic original recording sound from that era, but it sounds so creepy and eerie at the same time. It's like, wow, this is just amazing when you think about it. Hey, Bland Picker, welcome back. What else do we have? Keegan, the earliest I can remember hearing White Christmas by the Drifters was on my dad's W9GEF ICOM IC706 transceiver in the early 2000s. Zen Pharaohs, my Christmas memories were hearing the original broadcast of Gene Shepard Christmas Story on WOR, and then the Apollo 8 mission, which was a huge media event on Christmas Eve 68. You know that Apollo 8 recording? Has that background tone and noise to it. There's something that, for some reason, you don't even know, but it feels distant and far away. Is an amazing piece of history, I can tell you that. It is definitely an amazing piece of history. Pretty crazy when you think about it. Man, did we do amazing things at some point. And by the way, on Christmas Day, because it was supposed to be Christmas Eve, but Christmas Day, the James Webb Telescope is going up into space. That's going to be one hell of a really amazing science experiment for the future. We're gonna learn a lot of stuff with that for sure. That's for sure. Keegan says his first radio was a Radio Shack 12795 AM FM TV shortwave CB radio for Christmas 2000. Wow. Paul Steckler, just read your story. Danny, shortwave and Radio DX, listening to old music on my recently purchased C Crane EP Pro AM FM radio. This is a great AM DX radio. Love Zoomer radio at 740 kilohertz Canada. John Beckham. I used to take my GE AM portable with me in the car as my dad drove across the river here where I live, and I can remember how the AM signal got weaker as we drove further from the station. A lot of experiments like that. I remember, you guys remember the Radio Shack Cube? It was the fake wood finish weather radio cube, and had only the weather channels. I remember that I had one of those cubes, and as we were moving and going towards north, where my dad had his shack, I would be on in the car because my curiosity was, okay, how far will I hear the Montreal weather station on 162.550 megahertz? And will I hear another one when I'm there? And behold, after a certain amount, I don't know, I don't remember how far we had to go. One thing for sure is that at some point when we would go up north, we would reach the Laurentian, where there's a lot of mountains. So of course that isn't the best for VHF, but still, you had that off and on signal. It would come in, would go out, would come in, would go out. Then I would lose it and have just static. But as we would get closer, we would have another one pop in. And that one was the weather station that was on Mont Tremblant, which unfortunately has been decommissioned in the past couple of years. I don't know. Us geeks, we know the weather station stuff. Up to what point the weather station VHF channels are known to the general public? That is a question I'd like to get answered. How many people actually know that we have these VHF weather stations that can actually alert us in case of bad weather, for example? Timothy Gunter. Today I heard Supreme Master TV on 9305 for Smith Kansas, probably 9395 was the frequency you're mentioning, because they are 9395 on WRMI. Glenn Zeckman, nice to have you here from Tennessee. David McCormick picked up a cheap Texan R9012 as a stocking stuffer. First medium wave radio were 550 KTRS, St. Louis, Missouri, 600 WMT, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. With a tight dial pointer, fun for $22. It's definitely for $20. It's definitely an interesting radio, honestly. Matt, if we walk around downtown Seattle without finding an open cafe, the day was after Christmas, must have been on the weekend. Some blocks have 2 Starbucks there. Oh, man. Man Reader DXer. Yeah, sure. If you guys want to donate for Christmas, it will go towards buying new radios. For sure. This is only going towards new radios. This is the place to send out a few bucks. And you can actually send a little something. And this is going towards the radios. And talking radios, taking a break for a few seconds. Santa has received this. So this is new today. And Santa opened the box, and Santa noticed one thing. You know, one of the most requested features over time in a radio, a lighted keyboard. Look at this, guys. This thing has a lighted keyboard. Look at that. So this is a AM, FM, long wave, short wave portable with 2 speakers. Plays MP3 files also. And my first big surprise, of course, was the fact that it has a lighted keyboard, which we all want in every single radios of the future. So I haven't tried it much yet. I heard Spain on 9690, but this is the brand new little baby that we'll be playing with and, of course, reviewing in a near future. So this is going to be fun to play with. Takes AAA batteries. Kind of reminds me somewhat of like the PL380, but in a format with 2 speakers on it, I've got to say. WF7I Ombro, this ham who lives not far from me has been doing commemorative Fessenden transmissions each Christmas Eve the last few years on 486 kilohertz. This is kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting to check out. Ron Hicks, SolarFlux 140 here in Memphis, Tennessee. On my Texan PL 880, I can't even hear WWE on 5 or 10. Remember that you have to, SolarFlux isn't all. You have to also know that, you know, and I say it all the time, noise level around us is probably the biggest problem. At 5 megahertz, you should be receiving, in Tennessee, you should be receiving WWV. If I go on 5 here on my little Airspy HF Plus, WWV is definitely there, as you see here, with stellar indices. It's S9 plus 20 here, S9 plus 30 almost. It's very strong on 5. And I'm guessing you have much more noise than you think in the area where you are, because you should get it. And tonight there's no real disturbances, pretty much, so should be going there. John Beckham really misses Radio Canada, as well as those powerhouse shortwave stations, such as BBC, Radio Moscow, and so on. Yeah. Well, the BBC is still there, and it's still a powerhouse. The problem is it's just not broadcasting to North America. But there's a few frequencies that come into North America, at least the East Coast. No, definitely the R9012 for $20 is probably the most surprising little analog radio you can get. Because, you know, for $20, most of the time on $20 you get crap. I rarely get a good radio at $20. I rarely get something that even receives something at $20. The R9012 is an exception to the rule. It definitely is a surprising little package for $20. David McCormick, I always thought it would have been great to hear the beep, beep, beep of the first Sputnik on shortwave. No noise. I'll bet it was easy to capture on and for quite a long receive time. You know, low noise and a big, long wire antenna. One of the frequencies of Sputnik was 20 megahertz. I believe they had 2 frequencies at 20 megahertz, 40 megahertz. They had 2 of their frequencies. Probably was not that, it was probably easy to receive it. And 6 RLS every Christmas from a fan here in Berkeley, California. Maybe we will QSO, meet on the radio in 2022. Happy New Year. V2 says that I. Absolutely. Happy New Year and 6 RLS. Sputnik went up in 57. Yes, 57. What is on the Crafter's Kitchen? Apollo 8 It is thought of by many as the most successful spaceflight ever. So many firsts, including breaking Earth orbit, going into deep space for the first time, not to mention the Earthrise photo. Yep, that's the picture they always use every time they want to show the Earth above the lunar surface. Blue Storm, tuning the AM dial on my EP Pro, and the AM is definitely alive and kicking, comparing it with the PL660. Cool. Cool. David McCormick listens to 740 Zoomer Radio many nights. Great station. Paul, 1930s to 1970s, plus news, good or bad, didn't travel instantly, 24 hours. Better, I don't know, but being bombarded by news and info today 24/7 is not healthy for me or society, in my opinion. It is if you just take a chunk of it and then digest it and do other things during the day. Where it is not is when you just stick there and stay there all the time. RGA Dakota, remember about the weather cube and the time cube from Radio Shack. WF7I says, still own the famous Radio Shack weather cube. Wow. I don't know what happened to mine. Chastang, my uncle Walter was an engineer for NACA and NASA. He worked on Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo missions. Retired from the Goddard Space Flight Center. Cool. Cool. Zen Pharaoh says, thank heaven there's no brother stair cube. that would be part of a Twilight Zone story. That's much more of a Twilight Zone story. Oh, God. Mad Radio DXer, I wish we had VHF weather stations here in the UK, as we have been getting bad weather for the past few months. You know, Mad Radio DXer, you are saying something here that makes us realize something. I always thought the VHF weather stations were a great idea. So in the US, there's Noaa weather stations. Here in Canada, they're the environment weather stations, but they're on the same frequencies. So, you know, it's interchangeable. We can use a weather alert radio from the US here in Canada that works, and so on. And these have weather alert features. And for example, a very simple example of this, I have the behind the curtain, behind the fire, I have the Unit and Burkett 980 SSB. That CB radio has the 7 VHF channel weather with weather alert. One of the things I did all summer was keep that CB radio on, scanning the channels to see when there was skip. It would break through the squelch, and I knew that skip was happening. And a few times we had weather alerts because of bad weather. And of course, man, that punches through. That tone punches through like crazy on that radio. And I think it is an amazing feature because bad weather can really, really, even if it doesn't happen often where in a certain area where we live, it can degrade really fast and be a life-threatening situation. And so, you mentioned how you would like to have that type of service there. And I have the impression that here, it was never really pushed. And the majority of people have no idea that such a service exists when it could maybe save lives. And it's sad when you think about it. Metalunar, I only know about the weather band because my father used to have a Subaru, which I bought from him later and had weather band on the factory radio. Wow. Okay. Air band in a car. I've never seen that. Paul, if I get to see imagery from the Webb telescope in my lifetime, I will be happy. Fingers crossed at the launch and deployment. Zen Farrell's actually, shall I have an emergency radio that was given to all of us who live close enough to nuclear reactor a few miles away. They turned off the reactor, but they still send the batteries again. Okay, that's cool. So there are areas where that is taken care of. Here in Montreal, I mean, they're not even talking about it. I don't. I would bet you that if I ask 100 people on the sidewalk, we have a weather radio broadcast on VHF. I'm lucky if one person will tell me, "Oh yeah, I know about it." Blue Storm, living in Texas, I'm very familiar with Noaa. It's very valuable. Tornadoes and frequent here. No problem, Timothy. I immediately knew that you probably had just missed the frequency. Keegan, I listened to Noaa Red Radio for the first time on a Kobe CX788 digital radio, AM, FM, TV, Noaa radio. I got it for Christmas 2006. So you got a lot of radios for Christmas, Keegan. Yeah, the images from Hubble are absolutely amazing. So the James Webb Telescope is in a different scope of frequencies of the type of energy that it's actually catching and looking at. So it's a very different radio from a different telescope from the Hubble telescope. The sorry, the wavelength that it actually looks at is different. So it's going to bring some new discoveries. Paul Steckler, then 398 proves once again everything's bigger in Texan. Blue Storm, I have one of those Midland radios they sell at Walmart with same good unit. I have it for years. I have one here, which is a Midland, which Fatslow gave me. It was his father that had one. It's actually standing there on the shelf, plugged in, and it's probably on in silence mode. And if there would be a weather alert, you guys would probably be hearing a weather alert right now. Mad Radio DXer, 398 MP. Excellent. Hopefully we can see a comparison with the PL330. Yeah, it is a different radio, though. I think it doesn't have single sideband, so it's not the same in the same league. And 6RLS Christmas shortwave memory. Tuning in to the BBC on Christmas morning here in California to hear the annual Christmas message from the Queen Elizabeth. Appointment listening before Internet days. Danny shortwave. Yes, lighted keypad. So cool. I don't know why. All radios should have a lighted keypad. I think it's, if you had one requested feature that I've seen all the time on my channel, I want a darn radio with lighted keypad. Everybody's asking for that, and no radios almost have it. There are very few receivers that have a lighted keypad. And yes, it is darn important and nice to have that. Paul says he's got a handheld Oregon Scientific weather radio. Roughest Newt. I have a Uniden 860 on 24/7 set on weather alerts. Scares the crap out of me when it goes off. Can receive 3 weather channels here. MDK2, those blue weather radios only had 3 frequency settings, so they'd be out of date now. Yeah, there's 7 now in the frequencies. John Beckham, Gilles, that is the radio that I had asked you about, the Texan PL3, the PL398 MP a few months ago. Cool, as I can't wait to see your video pertaining to that radio. Oh, there's going to be a lot of radio videos for sure. Don't forget all to donate, says Mad Radio DXer. Rush Time Machine. Hello, and thank you for all the information and great videos. Been listening to 5085 WTWW. Has been fun, and I also got my first radiogram last Saturday. Merry Christmas. Cool. That's always fun. The radiogram is a great little experience. It's not everybody that likes it, and it's not everybody that loves it. But honestly, shortwave radiogram is fun to decode, and it's fun to tune around. And what's fun with it is that often they want us to try different modes we never tried before. Glenn Zeckman, WWV week on East Tennessee on 5 megahertz. Might be actually, it could technically be skipping over you guys. So as we have, David McCormick's fun to have a virtual gathering of like-minded smart people with similar enjoyment of radio would have been great to have in the 80s. It took a long time to get the newsletter in the snail mail. Yeah, back in the days, you were in a club and you had updated information. David McCormick, WWV 2025 megahertz check. It's middle of the night, so I don't think I'm going to have anything here on that frequency. We're still going to try it because you know what? I always say one thing. Don't prevent yourself from trying something because of some other reason. So as I pretty much thought, nothing there. And nothing on 15. And on 10, very weak on 10. Actually, 5 megahertz is the best frequency for WWV here. RJ Dakota, Brother Stair Cube would be an Outer Limits episode. You know, that would be, I would see that being like, you know, you want to know what it is to go to hell? You're going to be listening to Brother Stair for the eternity. That would be hell. You know, it's like, imagine for a shortwave guy. It's like, well, you've been bad. You're not going to heaven. Okay. Here's a shortwave radio. So for the first moment, you're like, oh, wow, I'm going to hell with a shortwave radio. And then all it has is Brother Stair frequencies, and you cannot tune anywhere else. And you can't turn it off. That's hell for you. Glenn Segment can hear CHU on 3330, been in WWV. Dwayne, good night. Take care. 73. Merry Christmas, my friend. By the way, as people are here, remember that this is the last show of the year. We will be back on Wednesday, January the 5th, I believe. Wednesday, January the 5th. Yes. So this is going to be the return of the live show. I'm going to take a little time off. So hope that you guys are going to stay safe. I'm not saying it's going to be zero between, because I've had an idea. If I have some time and want to take it easy, maybe I'll do I was thinking of maybe a surprise Let's Tune the Band show. So who knows? And I won't promise anything, but I got nothing to do on New Year's Eve. So if nothing special is happening, I might show up at a live Let's Tune the Band's New Year's Eve style. So if you got nothing else to do, it's not impossible that this is going to happen. It's a Friday evening next week. So I'm going to cross your fingers. Maybe, but I'm not going to promise. Okay. For now, I'm taking it off until January 5th, but it's not impossible that New Year's Eve, you know, surprise, surprise. Let's go live and tune the bands. Others other crafters. Father was an engineer for NASA that designed a tracking system for Apollo 11. He was on the USNS Vanguard, the main tracking ship off Cape Kennedy. The home movies he took were incredible. You guys might not notice the landing foot the landing, like, there was like these pads at the bottom. So there was that the LEM had these feet that would sit on the lunar surface. Just so you guys know, these were built here in the province of Quebec, not very far from Montreal. I believe in Mirabel, just up north. They were the ones that every lunar mission used on the LEM that landed on the moon, built here, not very far from Montreal. David McCormick was tuning and stopped on the moaning and groaning of Brothers Terror flock. Thought my wife was going to bust a nut when she heard that. Oh, man. Yeah, candy glass, absolutely. I've never seen or heard of a weather radio in a car radio, ever. Paul wants to control the Webb telescope from the computer. David McCormick, weather radios should be promoted more. Yes, they should. Yes, they should. Cell phone towers are frequent targets of large F tornadoes. Yeah, David McCormick, when they talked about the James Webb telescope where everything needs to go right, you guys remember when the Hubble's telescope went up in the sky and everybody looked at the first pictures and they were all flawed, and they said, what the hell has happened? And they actually had to go up and fix it by putting optics to fix, because the mirror had a problem. That's what I think of when I think of the James Webb telescope. Hopefully it's going to be okay. Timothy Gunter, a $20 radio is something called PowerGuard 10-band radio sold through PCH. No place to plug in your earphone. Shortwave is mediocre, but good AM FM radio with a flashlight. WF7 Homebrew, VHF, UHF question, but any new thoughts about scanners and whether buying one is still worthwhile? Was thinking about a Whistler, but not sure if there is much to hear. Honestly, and I'll give my honest opinion here, don't spend hundreds of dollars on any scanners. Yes, maybe there are some interesting stuff that could be listened to with some digital modes that are not encrypted in your area. It depends where you live, but I would not spend hundreds of dollars on a VHF UHF radio. If you got a scanner radio at home, you know what? Just tune around what's left of the analog stuff. You'd be surprised. Tune around, 136 to 174 and 430. Well, lower than that. 400 up to 470. You'll be surprised at still the amount of analog stuff in there. Maybe a little bit at 800 megahertz, but I would not waste money in buying any of the VHF UHF radios today, because even if for the time being you're okay, eventually that system is going to be changed and you're going to be out of luck because they're all going encrypted after they change the systems. Since Farrell's actually just by the bedside, I have a Yisu VR120, which is set to local weather frequencies. I got a hair in my nose. I used to, as a baby, monitor with a Shure in-ear monitor transmitter. But now it's for weather. That's cool. That's cool. David McCormick, another fun radio to consider for $16. Stocking stuffer, XH Data D328. Jeff King, I have the Kato KA500 as my main weather radio. Cool. Vasti, W1INC. Nice to have you on board, Joe, from New Hampshire. John Hummel Newell, V5JHN. Joyeux Noel. Nice to have you here, my friend. Glenn, do you know anything about the Yaesu VR 500? I've seen it, but I don't really know much about it. Maybe somebody can help you if they have one. Experimenting with radio is part of the fun, absolutely. Blue Star and the Delstar DS 1007 is a fun little cheap unit too. Denny Shortwave. Oh my God, no. That is hell. Brothers stare on 24/7. And you can't turn it off and you can't change frequency. Imagine. And it's full volume and you're trying to sleep. Oh man. But the morning sessions could be used as a Halloween theme, though. I would see myself having a Halloween night and having the morning sessions and everybody coming by and saying, oh, wow, those are scary zombies. Yeah. Zombies is the right word for the followers of Brother Stare, too. Zen Pharaohs. There was an NBC TV show called The Cube, which was by Jim Henson and was about a man imprisoned in a cube where, among other problems, they put a noisemaker in the cube he couldn't turn off. Oh, God. MDK2, pretty soon every shortwave receiver will be a Brother Stare radio. Okay, I kid, but dang, 4 or 5 years ago, that was almost the case. Yeah, it's not as bad, although there was a little more stare today, but there was a period where it was really crazy intense. So, pretty crazy. Vasti, New Year's Eve, ARRL, Cyan Key Night. A lot of CW for 24 hours. Cool. Matt, by the way, folks, those who will be hanging around the homestead on New Year's Eve should ring it in with WDDR, Drunken DJ Radio, Pirate Bands, just likely it will be 4015 upper sideband, but it could be on 43 meters. Cool. Not guaranteed broadcast, but possible. Chance Tank, I will toast all of you, my friends, at midnight on New Year's Eve. Kamazi 76, I imagine James Webb telescope far superior to the Hubble. It's a different telescope, so it's superior in its range. It's different from the Hubble. Hubble is, the classic-ish telescope, even though it goes out of the spectrum of just visible light. James Webb goes much more into the different wavelengths of what's available and visible in the universe. So, and it's, from all accounts, it's going to be amazing what we're going to get with that. Anyone interested in getting 40% off the download of the ARRL manual or ARRL antenna book, the discount code DLWD until the 24th. Oh, God. I never listen. I hear stare, I just move on. Have you guys seen me when I do the band scans and it's stare all the time? It's like, forget it. I don't even mention. I'll mention the name of the station. That's it. John Beckham, shortwave radios, antennas, noise, and more. That is us. Absolutely. Whoops. I clicked something I shouldn't have clicked. So, and the question, do those Midland weather alert radios actually play Noaa stations? Yes, they do. When you press the button on top, there's a few buttons. If you press the main button, it opens up the audio and you hear the Noaa weather broadcast. And it shuts off after a default time. You can also, if you want, leave it on just audio weather. But they do have the audio of it. And when they play the alert, they actually unlock the audio for several minutes. Doug Smith QFX has a $15 shortwave radio that sort of works. I like these sort of works. WSR Brew, I got rid of all my old 1990s scanner equipment long ago. Don't have anything covering outside the ham bands right now. Not sure if it's worth, go to a thrift store or a ham fest or something and get yourself a cheap one, like, for $30, and that's going to be okay. It's not, what I would say is it's not zero. So that means having one scanner radio is kind of cool. There's stuff there and there's analog stuff left. Where my mind isn't is paying $700 for a radio that gets almost nothing and that will get less and less and less as we go on. That's where I'm not. And I don't think it's worth it. But if you get one, I got a Uniden VHF UHF scanner is on eBay for like $35. It was great, and it does the job. If you can get something, a used scanner that works well, get that, and just keep that. I don't think it's worth it to pay hundreds of dollars for anything VHF UHF anymore. That's why I'm not doing anything VHF UHF channel anymore. Also. Yeah, I've seen ads where some of these Midland radios are sold like at Walmart and stuff like that. MDK2, my aunt had some scanners, but I don't know if she listens to them. She's in a rural area, so it's a good chance they're not encrypting their emergency services yet. Yeah, because there are places where it's not. Actually, when the skip happens, 30 to 50 megahertz, there's a hell of a lot of places in the U.S. where the law enforcement and fire departments are still analog in the 30 to 50 megahertz range. And you hear them over skip. Story about that, about my mom. My mom had the Pro 43. I had a Pro 43 scanner that I purchased in a very high price when it got out because I wanted to have that one. And for a long time it was my main scanner because I wanted one that had the military airband. You know how they sell us stuff. And when you're don't really know much, you kind of just buy it because, it's got a military band. And then you got to sit down in your ass and think, what military stuff is there where I live? Now, there is, I got to say, I think it's pretty much off now, but on the eastern part of Montreal, there was a Long Point military place. But, I mean, the military band is mostly aircraft stuff. And when I got my scanner, it was like, there's nothing there. But one day, I was scanning because I'm the curious guy. I tell you guys, I'm the curious guy. And I heard communications. I remember the frequency was exactly 311.000 megahertz. It was military exercises from the Plattsburgh, New York Air Force Base. I would not hear the ground stations, but I'd hear the planes in the air doing military exercise. And lucky I listened through. And at the end, they said, okay, same time tomorrow, but we'll be on 296 something. And next day, I punched in that frequency. And next day, they were there again. And I had fun listening to some military aircraft for a few weeks. And all that disappeared when the Plattsburgh military base shut down, when the United States government did a big shutdown of a lot of the bases around the U.S. Plattsburgh, New York was one of the shut down bases. And since then, I never heard any military communications ever again. But the funny part is that scanner radio, I had a Pro 92 trunk scanner afterwards. And my mom would sometimes borrow my scanner radio because she would want to listen to the cordless phone frequencies and the cell phone frequencies. And so she was like, "Oh, can I borrow your, she would come to my bedroom and she would say when we lived together in the 90s, "Can I borrow your scanner radio and listen to, she would actually, because I had the Banks program, so she would actually tell me exactly what she wanted. So one night she would come and say, "Can I borrow the scanner radio and listen to cell phones?" Okay, Bang 3. Here we go. And the next day she would come to me and say, "Oh, can I borrow the scanner radio and listen to the Police?" Okay, Bang 1. "Can I take the scanner radio and listen to the cordless phones?" Bang 2. And she would, have a lot of fun with that. It was something interesting because when my mom died, it was a long story, but and a very bad ending. But I was the guy taking care of my mom when she died, and so compared to to the rest of my family, I was the one that was the least surprised that she passed away. When I emptied, I was pretty much, most of the time I was the guy that emptied the apartment. I was pretty much all alone all the time, and I came up to the one night. So let's put a Christmas story to it, and put a sad story to it. My mom died on January, something like January 6th, or of 2008. So just not very far after New Year. My mom was at her home, which was a old folks home, for Christmas that year. And so she had spent many months in a hospital before that. And things looked good, And so we went to Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, she fell down and she broke her hip. And that Christmas Eve, 2007, I spent 6 hours. I'm not kidding. Ambulances were like totally overloaded. I spent 6 hours sitting on the floor talking to my mom, trying to keep her mind off of whatever, waiting for an ambulance to arrive. And that was Christmas Eve 2007. And so she got an operation, and then she got to a place where they for readaptation, so that she can try to walk again and get back. And so on the first, around January 5th, she had a stroke, and so they sent her back to the hospital, and then things went really bad. And I'm not going to talk about it because it's really, really bad. But that was the end. And the day that happened, so me, my brother, and my sister, we went there. We checked the place, cleaned up the place a little bit. But I was the only one that had the keys. So later in that evening, I went alone. One of the things that made her extremely happy when she was there she missed the days when she lived with me. I remember back in 2007, she was always saying, it'd be fun if you would buy a house and be together rather than me living in this whole folks home. Um, to make her feel more like home. Because let's face it, an old folks home is halfway between an hospital and a home, depending on what it looks like. That one looked more like a hospital than a home. So what I did was I had a little 2 feet uh, Christmas tree, and I had a couple of lights and stuff. And I went to her place, and that was maybe December the 15th. She had just come back home from the hospital. And I said, you know what? I'm going to make you a little Christmas tree. And I remember that night we watched she liked cartoons. So I had a Scooby Doo DVD. And I said, you know what? Want to watch Scooby Doo? And she said, oh, yeah, that'd be fun. I put a Scooby Doo DVD and we watched that together. And she was looking at the tree all the time. And she was kind of happy. It was like a normal Christmas that she lived through, in the past. And the day she died, and I went with my brother and my sisters. When everybody was gone, I went back, and I was, of course, all alone. And I sat down in her chair, and I turned on the Christmas tree. And I saw the Pro 43 scanner, and I turned it on. And I remember I cried like a baby for, I don't know, an hour, thinking about, the past, about your parents that are gone, about, things you lived in the past, things we lived through, things we did together. Childhood, as your mom, as a guy, I think your mom is probably the most important person in the world. And man, I cried like a baby for an hour. It was a tough night. Anyways, enough negative stuff. What else do we have? Zenfaro's got a Yaesu VR 500. It's a little decent handheld wideband, slightly better than the VR 120, but not by much. Many shortwaves and zombies. Yeah, they sound like zombies. Wondering if any of the stations that run Brother Stare will run a marathon of New Year's, maybe to commemorate his passing this year. Oh God, please no. Please no. Paul says they use 24/7 Brother Stare tactics at Guantanamo Bay. Oh God. Henry the Xer, I would recommend a $20 art. Oh yeah, that's a yes. Yes. Here you got it. You know what? You want to go to VHF UHF if you like SDRs? $20 RTL SDR dongle. You're going to go on a VHF UHF. You'll be able to do the digital stuff with SDR Sharp. There's plugins for that. And you know what? You won't spend a lot of money. Mandarin the Extra has the answer there. Definitely. Yeah, it's infrared from James Webb. Absolutely. So it's going to peer through a different spectrum of the space and see things. So it's supposed to see closer to the beginning of the universe, actually. Hey, David is back. Just install the adapters that he 3D printed into the junction box. So he's happy. He's happy. Timothy Gunter used to like WBCQ a long time ago. Yeah, same here. Man Max says every time he runs into Stare, his eyes start switching. MDK2, it's interesting at times hearing the really old stare broadcasts from, yeah, I have come across some of those really old stare broadcasts. Vince, do you know any weather radio that will alert you even when it's off, turn on by itself? And is the Whistler WS40 supposed to turn on by itself? No, actually, any weather radio of that kind, or any weather or any radio that has an alert feature, has to be on. But many of them have what they call a standby mode. That means it's quiet and it stays quiet, and it will only turn on an alert when some bad weather event happens, but it can't be fully turned off. Most of them have some kind of like I said, some really some they just go into standby mode, so you don't hear anything. You won't bother you unless there's a weather alert. Paul, in about 1980, would hear Texas Army firing range communications around 50 megahertz range. Hey, I remember when I had it was my Pro 43, I think, or it was my Pro 2006 that I got there. Actually, still, I would hear on the discount. Yes, on the discount in the 90s with the solar activity really high. I would hear police chases and fire departments across the U.S. in the 30 to 50 megahertz range. And you know what? Today, there's still a lot of them. A lot of places have old technology still using analog, 30 to 50 megahertz. John Beckham has 3330 CHU into Northeast Florida on the Ceodon D808. Cool. Rush Time Machine 3330 CHU coming in to Rhode Island with the same radio. RL, in the 70s, we used to pick up CB radio transmissions through our analog TV set within the higher UHF channels. It was usually the local tow truck company. David McCormick, you're a great role model, Gilles. Folks, take note. Your parents will not be around forever and may need your support. Yep, absolutely. W7I Homebrew, I'm curious what amazing things this scanner can do for you. 659, the Uniden SDS 100 at ham radio outlet. You know, what it does, honestly, is because it has several digital modes that are, if they're not encrypted, because that is, let's put two different worlds in the VHF UHF scanner world today. You have digital modes, a little bit like on HF, we have digital modes, but you have encryption. Anything that's encrypted, you will never hear. It is actually something that even here in Canada, there's an actual law that says encrypted communications, not intended for the general public, it is illegal to try to decipher them. So what we are going through in our VHF UHF world right now in the scanner radios is that we're going through a moment where there's digital communications going through, and that digital communication can be either encrypted or on the clear. So if you have P25 P25 digital on fire department, if it's not encrypted, you hear the fire department. You just need a P25 capable radio to decode the digital. Now the problem is, in many places, like here in Montreal, the police department is in a digital mode that could be decoded, but it is encrypted, so you can't hear anything. And that is happening more and more. So that radio, you will be able to hear a certain amount of communications. Now, depending on where you live, it could be a great radio because it will hear everything because everything is digital but not encrypted, or it's just going to hear nothing because it's digital and encrypted at the same time. That's the complex thing of these radios today. Okay, what else do we have? Am I missing out on something? Let me just go down. We have Sheldon Harvey from Greenfield Park, Quebec. Don't forget, Sheldon Harvey and me have a great, fantastic, amazing international radio report show that is a special Christmas show. It will not air on CKUT. It's only available on the YouTube channel of the International Radio Report or on our download as an MP3 audio file. It is an amazing little piece of Christmas history, stories, and it's just amazing to listen to. Everybody that actually contacted me or gave comments about it are like thrilled at what we just did with that special Christmas show. You had to take a listen to it. WF7I Homebrew, my condolences for a show regarding your mom going through some of this with my dad now. It doesn't have long dialysis, likely last Christmas. Yeah, you gotta hang in there. I was the guy that was there all the time. And I was there for last year. I could see it coming. When you're always with that person, you know it's coming. And you got to hang in there, and you got to be there for everything. And then you got to take your time to resource yourself and take your time to recharge your batteries. The first thing that happened when my mom died was, and I remember thinking, wow, how come I have so much time on my hand to do things? And now I'm living the same thing again because I'm helping someone, and I don't have time anymore. Helping somebody and going through, um, bad times and going through slowly the decay of of what life can bring is a really tough thing. And I know that many of you out there are doing that. Hang in there. Recharge your batteries. Take a little bit of time, even if it's not a lot. Do take a little bit of time doing what you like. Radio, for example, is a great example. And hang in there. It's a rough one, but if we're not there, what's going to happen? These people have no one, and will be pretty much abandoned, and we have to be there for them. So don't, hang in there, and I know how tough it is. Believe me, I know how tough it could be. Cheers to all the people that help. Cheers to all the people that have gone. Cheers to all the people that are here. And thank you very much. It's an amazing experience. It's an amazing moment. And it is, and will always be, when I get older, if all of this is gone for some reason and someday, I can tell you one thing. I'll have the great memories of all of this. And who knows, maybe all of this will still be on the web and I'll be an old man looking back 20 years and think, look at that. That's me I'll be in my old folks home. I'll be saying, hey, that's me in an old man. That's me as a younger man doing stuff in a Santa suit. Who knows? Cheers, everyone. And happy holidays, and enjoy it and have fun. David, last week I got two new rigs, a Yaesu FD990 and an Alenco DR735. Used to belong to EA3FK, a good friend of mine, on my first QSO, who passed away earlier last summer. I'm honored to carry on his legacy. That is cool. WSNI Bruce says, does the SDR Play software have special capabilities or plugins for scanning? So here's the thing. The best software for plugins and for capabilities is SDR Sharp. Problem is, SDR Sharp is kind of proprietary now to who makes the AirSpy HF Plus discovery and all of that, the AirSpy stuff. And that's why I'm never going to buy an AirSpy device ever again, for multiple reasons. The guy behind it is an idiot that it just doesn't accept criticism. Second of all, they don't let the SDR Sharp software open to SDR Play because they're afraid of competition. Two reasons why I'm never going to buy an AirSpy device ever again. And I will tell everybody not to buy them. But that said, SDR Play has SDR Noaa as its main software. They have started to get plugins. Slowly and surely, plugins are getting in. But the amount of plugins available for SDR Play devices is far from what SDR Sharp is capable. So what I would say is, because the RTL SDR is like $20, get an RTL SDR, a cheap RTL SDR. It's going to do VHF, UHF. You'll be able to run it on SDR Sharp and do what you want. And think of an SDR Play device as an other device that you could buy eventually for higher end and better software-defined receiver. Aerial Imaging, Merry Christmas. Nice to have you here. Chris Bell, a fun activity to do with an analog scanner is to go to your nearby international airport aircraft viewing area and listen to the aircraft. That works great. For aircraft, if you have an airport near, analog scanners are amazing for that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Am I getting a signal on 7620 right now? Let me check it out. 7.62. Here there's absolutely nothing on 7620. Matt, WWVH, strong on 10 megahertz in Denver. WWV absent, carry on 15. Nothing on 2025. Fair at 5, good at 2.5. You know, RGA Dakota, there's something about that religious sects are not sex, but sect is something sometimes is tough to figure out. It is true that there was a lot in current events, and using current events in his advantage. And yeah, they are kind of outdated when you think about it. Aerial Imaging picked up a second-hand Sanjay HGR1 desktop radio. Connected to my discount outside, and I'm getting FM HD radio DXing tonight. Cool. Have fun. I got some, sorry guys. Santa is swallowing some beard. Take care, VT Radio, Paul. Nice to have you on board. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Stay safe. Avid tea drinker. I noticed some shortwave frequencies are digital. What shortwave picks up that up? If you're talking of international broadcasts, it's DRM. And nothing picks up DRM almost, except computer software. There's pretty much no radios. And I think that stations should just stop using that. It's a waste of time. Yes, please do check out the Christmas show for International Radio Report. Sean Beckham's, for all of you here on the Shortwave channel getting new radios from Santa, congratulations. Absolutely. Yeah, just assume nothing's going to happen. But Christmas Eve, surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. Well, that's, it's Christmas, man. Come on. It is Christmas. And Christmas with an Amiga 500 and a ARRLN book next to it. Look at that. Santa's at the top. So, that's the fun part here. Trying to spark some Christmassy spirit to all of you guys. WSO9, thanks for the explanation. As they are sharp, I was not aware of all the details between it. Yeah. And Keegan says NBC station WPTZ Channel 5 licensed to Plattsburgh, New York, Vermont, serving Burlington, Vermont, and Montreal, Quebec, was previously licensed to North Pole, New York. Wow. The funny part of WPTZ, the story behind it is my when I was 10 or 11 years old, we had a 26-inch color TV in the living room. And I wanted to watch, we didn't have cable TV yet. So I wanted to watch cartoons. And the best cartoons were the ones on the US channels at the border. And I would play and put the rabbit ears on the TV in funky, weird positions. So I could get WPTZ Channel 5 to get, Bugs Bunny Hour Show and stuff like that. And my mom would come in the living room and see all the staticky cartoons and say, "You're going to break down the TV." God. What else do we have? No, it's not. Please, no, I hope it's not fiberglass or WF7 in my own room. Merry Christmas. Stay safe. 73, always fun. Danny Shortwave also use radio reference to look for frequencies. Yeah, radio reference. Great place for VHF, UHF frequencies. Absolutely. Shastank, one year I was very busy and left the Christmas tree up till July. My girlfriend at the time thought it was hilarious, but liked it. You know what? I'll be very, very fair on this. I love Christmas. And for me, this is not just a Christmas tree. It's a winter, colorful decoration. It's a winter, colorful, lighting. And it's in my office now because usually I put it in the living room. And usually I would actually put it up on like November 15th. And I would take it down on February 1st. Because for me, it does not represent Christmas. It represents a part of winter where we need color and lighting. And it's just cool to have it around. Richard Califano, the background is beautiful. Santa, please deliver a PL368. The elves at Amazon said Friday. I promise it will be there. But don't rant on me if it's not. My elves are not perfect. What's the relationship between that tree and the cats? You know what? It's funny because all of my friends that have cats, all of my friends have had cats, all have cats in the tree at some point. Paul never goes in the tree. And the new cat, Mignon, looked at it, but no, it's okay. Where the action with cats happen is where cats become Godzilla. So when I do a Christmas village underneath, that's where things get interesting because the cats want to go and sleep there. So they go and carefully go between the houses and then they're going to sleep somewhere. So it's like a giant cat in a Christmas village. So that's much more my experience with that. Because the tree itself, they're not interested. They just look at it and like, oh, okay, something new. And they just leave. So Paul is like, yeah, so whatever. Paul, crumbled aluminum would help on the rabbit ears too. Yeah, I would put wires. I would already like clip wires on the TV's antenna. 73, David. Oh, you're saying to WSO Niombra. Yeah, they make drab weather more colorful. Absolutely. Winter months are kind of boring. There's color in your living room with a Christmas tree. It's like it's full of colors. It's fun. I'm not in the mind because people that go crazy over that, you got to build your tree on this date and take it off on that date. They're in the mind of that's Christmas. My mind of this is a winter tree. I would call it a winter tree actually. So that's where it is for me. So it's you build it as it gets cold, gray, and dark. You've got some colorful lighted tree in your living room, and it's a winter tree, and you take it down whenever you want, and it's not related to Christmas for me. I'm not religious, so this is not related to Christianity for me. It's a winter tree with colorful lights. Then Pharaoh says, my cat is not interested in the tree unless he figures he can push something off it. Anyways, to use the tree as an antenna, yeah, I don't think it's going to work well with this, with the colorful lights. Actually, my first thing that I taught today is if I key up 100 watts on my Yizu 50 FT450, will those lights blink differently? W5BL, do you prefer old school analog or digital D-Star Fusion when it comes to AM radio? I look, I don't have any preference, and each has its own thing. It's like, when I talk about FT8, I will always tell everybody, well, FT8 is uninteresting to me. There's something that I can't have fun with it. But that's me, and it's not that FT8 shouldn't exist or it's a problem. Too many hams are in the FT8. That's the problem of ham radio. It's not a problem of ham radio. Problem of ham radio is those geezers that always complain about ham radio. That's much more of a problem than FT8. So I don't like FT8. I'm done bashing FT8, and I understand why FT8 is fun for some people, and they enjoy it and everything. D-Star Fusion and all of that. It's cool, and I'll probably at some point try all of that. I have nothing negative or positive to say about it. It's different aspects of the hobby, and depending on what you like, that's cool. It's okay. Zen Pharaoh's the Festivus pole. Yeah, that would be a decent antenna. It would be a vertical. We need a Festivus pole. Yeah, it's a winter tree. David KJ4CMY says, my winters in England and Germany were dull. There was only one cloud that covered all Europe. Used high-speed film to take pictures of Christmas markets. Zygsu, would you say the CC Skyway SSB is worth 169? My honest opinion, no. Get a XH Data D808 or a Celadon D808. Better radio. Only thing we'll be missing is the weather band. If weather is not important to you, you got a better radio, but you got all the bands, including air band. Better sensitivity also. And you can have it for at least $70 less than that one. And that's my opinion, by the way, guys. Don't go crazy over the fact that, if you have one and you're happy, that's all that counts. My opinion is the XH Data or Celadon D808. It's a way better buy than an Skywave SSB. Just saying. Well, JD had Dakota in some Eastern European countries, the tree is more of a New Year thing. Take care, James. Merry Christmas. Stay safe. I should be in focus now. John Beckham, I hope to adopt a cat soon. I want to give that special cat a good home. Yeah, go and get one of those. Go to a shelter and get one of those abandoned cats. If I had one thing to say to anybody, don't go get a kitten. Go and get a abandoned cat in a shelter. That cat deserves much more than that miserable cage in a shelter. When I look at Mignon here, she was clearly abandoned by an owner. She does not deserve to live in a cage or be, she deserves a home, and now she's got one. So I'm stuck with two cats now. Without me even choosing that I had to have two cats. I never chose I wanted two cats, actually. But I'm stuck with two cats for some reason. But, get one of, there's so many fantastic cats that just are waiting for somebody to take them home. Go and take one of those shelter cats. Olympic 65, amen to that on a winter tree. At the same time, Christmas itself is traditionally meant to last through first week of January. So it's insane, the corporate pressure to ditch the tree. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of, it's like when I see people, it's like, oh, well, if you build your Christmas tree before December 1st, it's like, what are you talking about? Stop being a, negative, not fun person. Actually, I read a article that was saying that people that actually put their Christmas tree up earlier than everybody else and take it down later than everybody else are happier than those people. Maybe it says something, And we got to stop going by rules. Really, rules for everything. That's when you do the tree. That's when you take down the tree. That's when you stand up. That's when you go down. You got to sit. You got to come on. Okay, stop with the rules. There's enough of them, anyways. David, FT8 is a great mode for modest stations to achieve distant contact in low propagation conditions. It's like an amplifier for SSB. Well, I'm going to show you, David. In the next year, you're going to see my logbook for SSB with 100 watts. It's going to be as good, if not better, than your FT8 logbook. Now, that's a big order that I just said there. Yeah, no, that's different. When you have a real tree, you can't keep it forever. That definitely. I used to have a real tree and for a few times, and yeah, you got to take it down. You can't keep it. That's different from this. This is an artificial one, David Cage 4CMY. My cat was a drive off. All our other cats are shelter cats. We just adopted a shelter dog as well. We're doing our part. I mean, these animals are just so they're like us. They have feelings. I mean, when they get abandoned, it people don't. I find people so. I get it that there are circumstances in life that you will abandon your animal and you don't want to, because it's just uncontrollable circumstances, and it can happen, absolutely. And there you can't feel bad about it because you had no choice. But in the case of you abandon it because, from a kitten it became a big cat and you don't like it anymore, or I don't want to have my cat anymore or dog anymore, well, you're just dumb. And you shouldn't even have the possibility to ever have an animal ever again. I mean, your dog or your cat, you put it on a shelter. That cat and that dog is miserable and misses you. And that's where, if you can get a shelter animal, shelter dog, cat, come on, make him happy for whatever's left of his life. It's like, it's the equivalent of, well, I don't want to have my father anymore, so let's just ditch. It doesn't work like that. Matt says, I've been taking my share of adult kitties over the years. I've had only 2 real kittens ever in my life, 2 3-month-old. Though the last one I adopted was 9 months, but also black. Black cats are adapted less because of stupid superstitions. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Epiphany. That January 6th thing with the you guys do the in the UK and the US, you guys do the what is it? I don't know how in English it would be, but we have the kind of the cake in French it's called the gâteau des rois, which is the cake of the kings. And you take a piece of that cake, and whoever gets the bean or whatever in it is the king for the day or something. You guys do that tradition in the UK or the US? John Meckham, usual my sentiments completely as I am looking at the adult cats in a couple of local shelters. Just choose it wisely. Just choose it wisely. Look at its way of being, because there's psychiatric adults in life. We all know some. There's also psychiatric problems in animals. And you don't want to end up with one of those psychiatric animals. You want to end up with a good animal. So do at least take the time to look at them, look at it reacts with you and how it is and how you see naturally bound to you and looks fine, and that's important. Zen Pharaoh 6095 coming in now. Do I have something from 6095 here? 6.095. There is a signal. I can see it here. 6095. It's a pretty good signal, too. 6095. 230. Yeah, that would be the BBC from Wolferton in, I don't know what, Farsi? FS, his Farsi language. So it seems like it would be the BBC in the Farsi language. Probably. Chastang says, my cat, or am I a human? She chose me. I had no. My cats chose me. Pretty much. Miss her very much. She was with me 18 years. Wow. I know I'm going to cry my heart out when Paul the cat goes away. Aerial imaging. Both cats that I have came to me through circumstances of hardship. One, Lucy is an adult cat who was clearly not being selected by anyone at the clinic. I took her and gave her a good home. That's cool. Aerial imaging. Pumpkin was a filthy abandoned kitten I found in a parking lot. She let me pick her up almost as if she knew I was friendly. Watched her up, and she's a part of the family now. Cool. Cool. RJ Dakota, my tuxedo cat Oscar is extremely affectionate. Cool. David says, actually, I've already logged China several times on FT8. I still to make SSBQSO at the station. Yeah, I believe you. I know FT8 is very, very efficient mode. Olympic 65 recently, as my 70s, 80s childhood, there were still Christmas movies and music broadcast for several days after December 25th. So now I go out my way to look for that vibe, at least through early January. Keegan, my dad, WNIJEF, has a artificial tree. He puts the tree up on Christmas Eve and puts it away after Epiphany. Yeah, which is pretty much what a lot of people do, actually. It's like a tradition. You do it like that. Mark Jagger says adopted a cat that owners didn't want and a black cat run kitten that was unwanted. Best family members we ever had. Chastang, they do know about us. I trusted my animals' instincts over my own. Yep. Yep. Doug Noble, I agree 100% regarding the animals. I have a stray cat. David also achieved an SSB with JH3NGD in Japan. I think 100 watt SSB depends much more on the amount of aluminum that might be used by the station on the other end. Not in the UK. January 6th, Madrid, UK. Here in North America, it's January 6th. Epiphany. A king cake in the US? Okay, then Pharaoh's. Usually popular in New Orleans for Mardi Gras. The bean is actually called a baby and often is a little statue. We have a place here that makes them. They're so darn good. Chastang, never heard that tradition. Huh, okay. Interesting. So it depends where you are. So here we do have it. I follow it for fun because it's like, who's going to get that bean or that baby and the cake. Aerial imaging, the funny thing. Let me just go down. Funny thing that is, Pumpkin is adorable female orange cat with the best temperament you can imagine. Someone would pay thousands to have her. And it's like Paul the cat. He's just like everybody looks at him. It's like, oh my God, have you seen the beautiful cat? Paul, it is time when people should know that all animals have emotions like we do. I have an adult black cat I love, although he likes to get aggressive on his play. I try to make kitty bitty a time for him. Yep. Kamaxi, our cat came up our driveway as a stray with kittens on board. She had her kittens, which she found homes for. Then we had her sprayed, and she has been a good cat overall. Cool. Andrea DXer, I know in Spain, where I live, they used to celebrate the Three Kings on the 6th of January as part of the Epiphany. But in the UK, it's not celebrated. That's interesting. Okay. So here in North America, pretty much US, Canada, we kind of have that. But, even that, it's kind of a off the shelf thing. I mean, you have Some people will know it and celebrate it. A lot of people don't know anything about it. But there's got a lot because here in the where I get the cake, you have to order your cake in advance because they sell a lot of them. Actually, they sell a lot of them because one of the bean they have, they say there's three cakes in all of the cakes they bake that has a gold bean that's worth $500. Maybe that also helps. And the one who finds the baby or the bean or whatever wears the crown, the king crown, for the day. Yeah, if you live in an area where there's a lot of wildlife, you can't leave your cat out. Even here in Montreal, we started having signs. Not here where I live, it's okay, but there's like a railroad track that actually separates half north and south of the island of Montreal. On the north side, there are some um, man, what are they? They're in English they would be called they are not foxes. And so people on that side, they are told not to leave their cats out because the fox can actually kill them to eat them. But on this side, the foxes, there's no foxes. Here we have raccoons and we have skunks. Pretty much all that we have. You have a burst on 6132. Interesting, St. Pharaohs. Brad says your winter tree will make a good dummy load when tuning up your ham radio. You know, orange cats are known to be really good tempered cats in general. Kenny Glass, when I was a kid, one of our cats started peeing all over the place, and my dad made the choice to bring her to a shelter. It was a very painful moment for me. Yeah, you know, when that happens, many things could be happening. It could be, you know, they could be becoming sick. It could be, you know, some disease. It could also be something that changed, and now they're like unhappy. You know, I'm looking at that closely with Paul the cat because since you know Mignon, the other cat, is here, I totally noticed that Paul the cat isn't very happy that there's another cat in the house. So I take the time to play with Paul and to make him feel like, you know, you're still my cat. You're still the cat of the house. But you can see that he's not happy the other cat's here. Lemmick 65, thanks for your efforts, Santa Gilles. Hoping to oops, just went off. Mr. Farrell's my best friend has a creche, but it's not nativity scene. All the figurines are calling, and it's called the negativity scene. You know, one year the idea that I had with a tree like this, but it's a lot of work, and I never did the full year. I wanted to do a full year of keeping the tree up, which meant it started with the Christmas tree. As we get close to February, I would turn it into a Valentine's Day tree with little lighted hearts and, you know, pink and red colored, you know, things. And as we would go, then I would change it into a Easter tree with, you know, colored lighted eggs and, you know, bunnies and little chicks and stuff like that. And I wanted to just like perpetuate the tree for everything that we had as a holiday, and find something that's lighted, find something and put decorations, and keep it one full year with different decorations for each holiday. And I had started one year. I had done a Halloween tree, and the tree had lighted spiders, cobwebs. The under the tree was a cemetery. Then I changed it to a Christmas tree, and I never followed. Why? Because I understood that when you build a tree, it's a lot of work to build these things. You build it, and what's the non-fun part of a Christmas tree or whatever is to take it down. So once you take it down, you don't really feel like building it up again into something else. So when I did my Halloween tree, I had to take it down to build a Christmas tree. And I understood, oh man, I'm not going to go through this. It's too much. Am I on the wrong side or right side of the tracks? Well, on this area where I live, I'm on the right side of the tracks, but there are areas where the city is not really wrong or right side. It depends where you are in the city. And it depends what you mean by wrong or right. No, I've not updated the ATS 25 yet. So I'm going to check it out. Definitely going to check it out because I like it. But I haven't gone to doing that yet. Chastain, great idea. Matt, I had one cat who was diabetic and needed intravenous fluids. It was surprisingly easy to administer to her. Huh. David, take care. Stay safe. A Merry Christmas. A Happy New Year. Have a great time. Maybe we'll talk on the bands at some point. And it's always fun to have you here, okay? So, John Beckham says, I've always heard good things about the loving personalities that many orange cats display. Yeah. Paul, my first year back on the shortwave listening this summer was so much better reception in Michigan than it is now. Am I wrong thinking that winter months should be better? Or is this year an anomaly? No, it's a different winter and summer is different, and you got to listen at different times. So I would say that if summer evenings were fantastic, think more of winter afternoons than evenings. It's a shifting thing. It's not necessarily worse. It's just different, and you need to adapt to the frequencies and adapt to the time. It's very different. But each season brings its own DX. Each season brings its own thing to listen to on the bands, honestly. So, hey guys, hope you enjoyed this Christmas special. Here we are. It was a lot of fun to be here and to do this. Technically, officially, we are going to be back on Wednesday, January 5th, 2022. Because, yes, incredible, but 2022 is coming up. If things work out and if I feel like it, maybe a surprise New Year's Eve broadcast could be in the works, but just don't think it's going to happen. And if it does, you're going to be happy. And if not, well, we're going to be back on January 5th, 22nd. Hope that everybody enjoyed the show today. Hope you enjoyed the little ambiance of Christmas that I gave you. My hands on fire. Look at that. Look at that. I got fire in my hands. It's like a magician. Woohoo! Stay safe, everybody. Love you all. It was a great pleasure to do this. And before I leave, do it again. PayPal, if you ever want to do a little donation towards a future radio buy. Here's the PayPal for you two guys to give a few bucks, even if it's just $1. Who cares? It doesn't matter. The amount doesn't matter at all. Thank you so much, guys. And it's always fun to be here. Can you guys have Moscow Nights? Yeah, of course. Of course. Let's go get that Moscow Night thing. I'm just going to take the earphones to make sure it works well, because I'm not sure that the sound's going to be okay. But here goes. Moscow Nights. Thinking of Radio Moscow from the past. And thank you so much, guys, for being great fans. Moscow Nights. Oops. And let's see there. Here we go. There. Whoops, not playing in the right place. Oh, I'm going to fix this, guys. Playing in the wrong place. Let me just go here. Make sure the output is this. And here we go. Here we go, guys. Moscow Nights is in the house. Welcome to Santa Swiffer. With the Santa Swiffer, not only are you Santa, but you clean up the mess. Andre and Pasta. This is what Radio Moscow would play in the 80s and before the top of the hour news, which is called Moscow Nights. Hey, you can rent the Dancing Santa. It's cheap. Love you all. Santa loves you all. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.